Fans are seriously worried for Jennifer Lopez's son after these new pics have leaked. Okay, so fans are officially spiraling right now, and honestly, I kind of get it, because new photos of Jennifer Lopez stepping out with her son Max just dropped, and people are saying the same thing across the board. When did he grow up, and why does he look like that right now? Now, like, this is not the little kid we remember running backstage at JLo's concerts. This is like a full-grown man, like Max, who just turned 18, by the way, and his sister is a twin also. I mean, he was spotted out in Beverly Hills with his mom, just him, but looking super low-key, almost like he's actively avoiding the spotlight. Meanwhile, JLo is doing what JLo does best, serving full glam, a satin gown, flawless hair, the whole, I don't age vibe. And then there's her son Max just standing next to her in a casual outfit, giving very much, I did not sign up for this level of attention. And that's exactly why fans are kind of worried right now, because the internet immediately clocked the contrast. Like, not in a bad way, but in a like, this kid clearly does not want to be famous type of way. And when you really look at it, they might be right. I mean, Max has stayed almost completely out of the spotlight his entire life. No Hollywood chasing, no influencer era, no Nepo baby, soft launch, just nothing, which is wild considering his mom is literally one of the most famous women on the planet. But here's where it gets interesting. The photos sparked a whole wave of reactions, not just about how grown he looks, but how much he resembles his dad, Mark Anthony. And I mean, like, it's kind of undeniable. Same face, same vibe, same quiet energy, but probably has a personality we're not ready for yet. And fans are low-key shook because it's like watching a copy paste of Mark Anthony standing next to Jennifer Lopez in full superstar mode. It's giving two completely different worlds in one photo. But another reason these photos have people tripping out right now is because of how skinny his legs look, like toothpick skinny. Some viewers expressed concern for his health and even kind of like low-key shaded and joked about child protection services needing to be called. I mean, many defended him and just said, y'all are really body shaming a teen right now, which fair and real. And people are just starting to question, like, is Max okay? And is he okay with all of this going on? Because let's be real, I mean, growing up as JLo's son is not necessarily normal. This is a woman who's sold over 80 million records, dominated Hollywood with her rom-coms, and basically turned her life into a global brand. That's not just a mom, that's a full empire. And while JLo has always been super loving and protective, even she's admitted her kids are hitting that stage where they're becoming independent, figuring out life, even preparing for college. So now fans are watching this in real time, and this transformation from JLo's baby to a grown man trying to figure out who he is, and it's jarring. I mean, honestly, that's where this concern kind of comes in, because he doesn't look like he wants the spotlight. He looks like he's tolerating it. It also doesn't look like he's eating that much, but I mean, hey, the internet notices everything. Some fans are saying he seems shy. Others are saying he looks uncomfortable. And a few are even like, you know what, let's just protect him at all costs. So yeah, I mean, fans are worried for several different reasons, about his health, his overall look, his energy. And truthfully, I mean, I think most fans are just in shock seeing him all grown up. It's kind of alarming to see these kids grow before our eyes, right? Was Justin Bieber caught partying with mystery girls? You already know the internet's on fire because Justin Bieber just blessed us with one of the wildest celebrity moments of the year. And no, it isn't a new song or a fashion stunt. This time the video tea is actually hot. New unseen footage from Grammy night just dropped, and it shows Justin leaving the party surrounded by a group of friends and some mystery girls. Meanwhile, Hailey Bieber, well, she's heading home alone, just like Macaulay Culkin. Yep, by herself in a luxury car looking somber and lonesome. So picture this, if you will. Grammy red carpet, Justin and Hailey arrived like a power couple, matching fits, matching smiles, matching Instagram vibes, but the after party exit, totally different energy. Hailey is captured walking out solo, looking calm and put together, probably thinking about, their life and their family, maybe adulting things and their son they have at home, while Justin rolls up to a waiting van that has ladies in it and getting into it that no one has identified. Not his mom, not his stylist, not his cousin or sister. These are mystery girls, and the internet is absolutely losing it. Now let's be real. In Hollywood, separate exits can just mean separate nights. But come on, leaving the party in a van with unidentified woman, that's the kind of visual that sparks 1,000 screams online. Of course, fans instantly blew up social media. Some people are defending him, saying, yo, they're just friends, nothing suspicious. And maybe that's true. Maybe they were just celebrating. But the optics, there's something else, right? Like, you don't leave a late night event surrounded by mystery ladies and expect people not to talk, especially if you're just Justin Bieber. And to put even more fuel on this fire, this all comes after Justin recently got a huge tattoo dedicated to Hailey, the kind of tat that's supposed to lock down love and silence the rumor mill. But instead, people are speculating it looks more like relationship damage control than a love declaration. That's some next level narrative twist. And by the way, the tattoo looks like a 5th grader did it. If I'm being honest, I probably could have did a better job. Then you throw in the fact that this is the same guy who performed at the Grammys in what looked like silk boxers, no outfit plan until, walking on stage. And suddenly this whole saga feels like classic Bieber unpredictability. One minute he's in underwear on the biggest music stage of the year. The next minute he's rolling out with Mystery Company at night. Wild. Now, I'm not here to run a gossip mill. Actually, I might be. But the internet detectives already have spreadsheets, side-by-side comparisons, and conspiracy threads longer than, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. People are debating everything. Is this a sign of trouble in paradise? Is Hailey unfazed and just living her best life? Does Justin need a handful of Red Bulls and a GPS for commitment? I mean, honestly, this is the kind of celebrity moment that makes pop culture feel alive again. The memes, the tweets, the TikToks, it's chaos, it's entertainment. It's exactly the kind of moment that gets everyone talking, sharing, debating, and yes, arguing over whether this is nothing or everything. So, what do you think? Is Justin being shady? Is Hailey silently judging from home? Or is this just peak celebrity life? The internet is losing its mind right now because newly released police body cam footage of Justin Timberlake just dropped. And let's just say, this is not the smooth, polished pop prince people are used to seeing. This is messy, awkward, slightly chaotic Justin, and yeah, people are watching it on repeat. So back in June 2024, Justin Timberlake was pulled over in Sag Harbor, New York after police say he ran a stop sign and couldn't stay in his lane. Already not a great start, right? But what's turning heads now is the body cam footage that just got released in 2026 after he literally tried to block it from ever seeing the light of day. And now that it's out, well, it's everywhere. In the video, Justin looks, let's just say, off. He's stumbling through sobriety tests, struggling to follow simple instructions, and at points, he seems confused about what's even happening. Officers say he showed signs of impairment like unsteady movement and slowed speech, and the footage backs that up. He's clearly not moving like someone fully in control. At one point, he's trying to explain himself and literally says, "I'm Justin Timberlake." Like, sir, we know that. But the cops seem to not know that, so that's what kind of makes it funny. That line alone has already turned into a meme. And then there's the vibe. Instead of being serious, he's kind of like joking the whole time. Like he's laughing with officers, calling them wild, making comments, like fully doesn't grasp how serious this situation actually is, which is wild because at the same time, he's also like clearly struggling through these sobriety tests. He reportedly failed multiple of them, including the classic, walk and turn one foot over the next kind of, deal, and where he literally couldn't keep his balance. Now, here's where it does get more interesting. Justin claimed he only had one martini, just one, a single lonely martini. Yeah, we're not buying it. Police weren't buying it either. And honestly, the internet isn't either because the footage, it's giving more than one drink. It's giving this is about to like ruin his world tour. He also refused a breathalyzer test, which automatically led to, consequences. Including a license suspension. And despite his legal team insisting, that he wasn't intoxicated, Justin eventually took a plea deal later in 2024, downgrading the charge to a lesser traffic offense. So no, he didn't end up with a full criminal conviction, but he still had to pay fines and do community service allegedly and deal with the fallout. But let's be real. The fallout, the real fallout, should I say, is kind of happening now because this footage wasn't supposed to come out like this. Justin actually fought to keep it private, arguing that it would damage his reputation. And yeah, he might have been right in some sense, but in other senses not. People are kind of enjoying this right now. They kind of found him quite funny and he's kind of gained some popularity votes. So now instead of a headline, people forgot about in 2024, we actually have video footage of it now, and the video footage just hits a little differently. You can see his hesitation, the confusion, the way he's trying to play it cool, make it seem like he's just following his friends home, and yeah, I don't know. All of it was pretty comical, but of course the internet does what it does best. We turned it into entertainment, and rightfully so. People are clipping the funniest moments, they're looping the awkward lines, and even other celebrities are kind of reacting now. Some are calling it shocking, others are straight up saying it's just unintentionally funny, which it is. But that's also kind of the problem, because this isn't just some random viral moment. This is like a 40-something-year-old global superstar getting arrested and struggling through sobriety tests on camera. It's not exactly the comeback era he probably had planned, but I mean, it's coming back, so, take what you can get, I guess. Behind the scenes, though, it's reportedly causing a lot of stress at home as well. His wife, Jessica Biel, is said to be not thrilled that all of this is resurfacing again and going viral all over social media, because, imagine trying to, move on from something and then boom, HD body cam footage drops 2 years later. Pretty brutal. At the end of the day, this whole situation is a reminder that celebrity status does not save you from real-life consequences or from going viral for all the wrong reasons, or maybe the right reasons, depends how you look at it. Honestly, the internet isn't letting this one go anytime soon though, because once people see you stumbling, slurring, and telling police, I'm Justin Timberlake, like it's a VIP pass out of trouble, yeah, that clip is probably gonna live forever.
Shia LaBeouf got into some serious beef with police during Mardi Gras in New Orleans. New leaked video is making the rounds right now, and it shows Shia LaBeouf being arrested in the middle of Mardi Gras chaos, and yes, it's exactly as unhinged as you'd expect. The footage captures Shia in New Orleans during Mardi Gras when the city is already operating at maximum feral energy. Now, according to police, things went left after Shia allegedly got into it with another man in the French Quarter. Words were exchanged, tempers flared, and then boom, Shia is accused of headbutting the guy, not bumping, not brushing, a full-on headbutt because, of course. The video shows Shia being restrained by police, and he does not look calm, collected, or remotely interested in cooperating. He's visibly heated, yelling, resisting, and clearly not in a sir, yes, sir type of mood. Officers end up taking him into custody while bystanders watch, phones out because nothing says Mardi Gras like beads, booze, and a celebrity arrest unfolding in real time, right? Police say Shia was arrested on misdemeanor charges, including battery and disorderly conduct. And while no serious injuries were reported, the situation escalated fast enough for officers to step in and shut it all down. This wasn't a quiet misunderstanding. It was loud, public, and caught on camera. And honestly, this feels painfully on brand for him. Shia LaBeouf has spent years bouncing between talented actor redemption arc and what fresh headline is this? He's had public meltdowns, bizarre performances, arrests, controversies, apologies, spiritual recess, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So seeing his name attached to yet another chaotic incident during one of the wildest festivals in the country almost feels like inevitable. What really sent this moment viral though is how raw the footage is. There's no PR filter here, no polished statement, just Shia visibly angry, surrounded by police in the middle of one of the most crowded party zones in America. It's messy, uncomfortable, and honestly impossible to ignore, which is exactly why it's blowing up online. Social media reactions have been split straight down the middle. Some people are dragging him, saying this is proof he has not changed and never will. Others are saying Mardi Gras turns everyone feral and that this is being blown out of proportion because he's famous. And then there's the third group, the ones just watching like it's live reality TV with popcorn. So far, Shia hasn't publicly commented on the arrest and no dramatic apology tour has dropped yet, but history says give it time, because if there's one thing Shia LaBeouf is consistent at, it's staying inconsistent. And whether you see this as another fall from grace or just a chaotic night gone wrong, one thing's for sure, this leaked video just added another wild chapter to an already unbelievable resume. Mardi Gras didn't need this kind of drama, but you know what? It got it anyway, and I'm here for it.
It was so obvious that Katy Perry was lip syncing during her performance at the NRJ Music Awards. Like, there is a very blatant 15-second delay between what she was hearing in her earpiece and what the audience was hearing in the crowd. And in clips from that night, you can just see the embarrassment on Katy's face when the host of the show asked her to start again. And then, oh yeah, you actually have to sing. And that's not her only notable super embarrassing onstage moment. In 2008, she was performing her hit song I Kissed a Girl for the MTV Latin American Awards, and she must have thought that jumping into a gigantic pink frosted cake was like a great idea. But then it was time for her to get out of the cake and she kind of was being held hostage. She fell flat on her face when she finally wrestled free of the cake, and then another 7 times before she was carried off stage, the cake tripping her on her way out. And even though it was like super embarrassing, she managed to keep a smile on her face, so like points to her, but like, girl, choices. Hugh Jackman once admitted in an interview that he had a bit of a leak in front of a crowd while he was on stage playing Gaston in a 1996 Australian production of Beauty and the Beast. So the actor revealed that after enduring headaches for 2 months, he asked an expert what to do, and they said drink more water. So on the day of performing, he consumed so much water that by the time he was set to deliver his first number, he had to go. He explained, literally, I'm picking up Belle, and as I pick her up, I stopped singing, and right in that moment, I realized the muscles you need to release in order to sing are the ones you don't want to release if you, need to go. Back in 2013, Selena Gomez was performing at the Kiss FM Jingle Ball and was dealing with some major sound issues. Now, she might have been lip syncing because apparently what was heard in the crowd was her backup track, and like honestly whatever, lip syncing happens, but after one of her songs, the lights went down, the crowd went nuts, and then she yelled, "What the F?" into the microphone, because she didn't realize it was still on. So then everybody in the crowd was murmuring, like really nervously, and when the lights came back up, she was like, "Oh, so sorry guys, sound issues, I'm gonna play 2 more songs." Well, she only played 1 more song and then had to leave the stage. Poor thing. The 2012 Emmy Awards caused quite a ruckus for the beautiful Sofia Vergara. Seems like her designer dress was a little too tight and her derriere for its freedom and came out victorious. 20 minutes before Modern Family won the Outstanding Comedy Award for the 3rd year in a row, this wardrobe malfunction sent Sofia Vergara flying backstage to fix the problem with the help of her wardrobe team. Thankfully, this embarrassing moment did not faze her one bit. She even tweeted out the photo of her rear end for the entire world to see. You go, girl. Jennifer Lawrence is an incredible actress, super down to earth, super relatable. She's super talented, she's quick on her feet, but sometimes she's a little too quick on her feet. And we all saw this back in 2013 when she won Best Actress and tripped up the stairs while on her way to accept the award. Look, I've been there, I've worn the big skirts, I've fallen and done my fair share, but I don't think anybody has ever fallen quite as much as she has in terms of red carpet events, but she's doing great. Maybe just like get some help when you're wearing the big ball gowns. Been there. Beyonce is more than a person. She is the embodiment of beauty, talent, and success. She's lived most of her life on stage performing like she was born to do, and throughout her entire career she's remained classy in any outfit, no matter how revealing or outrageous, and has continued to be just incredible. It cannot be argued. Queen Bee all the way. But hey, even queens have their moments, and it's their choice on whether to dwell on them or pick themselves up. And I think we can all agree that when Queen Bee falls down, she bounces back up in a heartbeat, which she has proven to us over and over again. I think all in all she's fallen like 9 or 10 times, but her biggest stumble was during the Beyonce Experience tour, where she fell down 12 steps. Thankfully she didn't get hurt, but like, whew, poor thing. Ouchie. Kelly Clarkson found herself in a bad position after some food didn't agree with her stomach during a performance. She almost ended up pooping her pants on stage, and when she had the opportunity to run off during a quick change, she apparently destroyed a trash can. She said, like, I got some kind of wrecked up from some kind of food. We were in an arena, and I shouldn't tell this story, but like I said, I don't have a filter. She had to run backstage to do her quick change. She grabbed this poor trash can, and boy, she destroyed it. It was bad. She's like, it was bad. I'm just saying, it happens. What are you supposed to do? Hey, you do you. Things happen. Joe Jonas once had an accident on stage in the middle of a performance with his brother. Looking back on the 2019 incident, Joe says that when he realized he had also done a number 2, he quickly ran off to make a quick wardrobe change. And while he thought a lot of people would notice, turns out nobody really knew what was happening. He said, let's just say it was a bad day to choose to wear white clothing. You might think it might be a little toot, might have been a little something else, it was a little something extra. He said it was a light one, wasn't a full, so I was able to tell the tale. Thank you so much for that detail, Joe. That's what I needed today. He definitely continued the whole time. I thought this was definitely, somebody is going to be able to see this and know what is happening, but it was all in my head. Wasn't as big of a deal as I thought. But such is life. It's happened to many artists. I feel like I've paid my dues. I'm part of some secret club now. Yeah, okay, pal. In 2004, Ashley Simpson performed her hit single Pieces of Me on Saturday Night Live, and it went fine. But then when she came back to perform her next tune, Autobiography, things went south. The vocals for Pieces of Me began playing while her mic was down at her side. She tried to recover, for some reason, with a spontaneous hoedown before fleeing the stage. We've all seen the clip. At the end of the episode, a visibly mortified Simpson said, I feel so bad. My band started playing the wrong song. Didn't know what to do. Thought I'd do a hoedown. Later on 60 Minutes, she blamed her acid reflux for her reliance on a backing vocal track, and she's attempted comebacks, but no public was having it. Her record sales never recovered. We haven't really heard from her ever again. The house is packed, the ovation is standing, but the reviews are scathing. Why is it that there was such a visceral reaction to Cameron Dallas's run in the Broadway adaptation of Mean Girls as romantic lead Aaron Samuels? Was the runway model turned Broadway star too harshly treated by the critics online? Or was this a really damning moment of the dreaded stunt casting that's plagued a lot of Broadway productions for years? When the original Aaron, the beloved by fans Kyle Selig, opted to take a leave of absence from the show, it was announced that Mean Girls would introduce Cameron Dallas to take over the mantle for just like 4 weeks. And the decision proved unpopular with hardcore fans of the New York theater community, but also saw a huge response from fans of the heartthrob. Look, at the time, he was like the most famous member of the cast. He had more followers on Insta and Twitter than the entire ensemble put together multiple times over. His announcement on Instagram garnered almost as many likes as the official Mean Girls on Broadway account had followers altogether. We're talking like over 200,000. So there was no doubting, objectively, the considerable difference in ability at almost every quantifiable level between the social media celeb and the man he was covering for. Kyle's vocal range was leagues above Cameron Dallas's. Ditto to the acting credits. After all, there's a decade of experience in musical theater, stage time, and possibly most egregiously for theater purists, dues paid between the pair. Like when Kyle won the National High School Music Award and was subsequently granted a $10,000 scholarship for musical theater, Vine, the app where Cameron Dallas would launch his career, was still 2 years away from launching. One Reddit poster claimed that after watching the show on what was Cameron's opening night, that he sounded like he was reading his lines from a teleprompter. I remember when this hit the internet, I heard a boot. It was rough. John Cena made sure he didn't show too much on the 2024 Oscars stage. The actor appeared to be fully in the nude as he presented the award for Best Costume Design. He certainly wasn't wearing much, but he had some precautions in place to avoid any dramatic wardrobe malfunction. Now, behind the scenes photos do show Cena standing in an Oscars hallway wearing a modesty pouch to cover up the most personal parts. It's basically a pair of underwear, pocketed to, the front and the back. So while it looked like the pro wrestler could flash to the audience at any moment, the Oscars team made sure that wasn't gonna happen. It was all an homage to one dramatic Oscars moment past. The 46th Academy Awards, 1974. David Niven was in the middle of introducing Elizabeth Taylor when a streaker ran across the stage, and host Jimmy Kimmel was like, hey, can you imagine if a nude man ran across the stage today? And Cena fit the bill. But he wasn't going to become the next Hollywood streaker. They were joking that, he was supposed to, and then he got cold feet. And if you found yourself wondering if this was a music performance or a episode of WWE Raw, don't worry, you're not alone. While performing at the 2013 Billboard Music Awards, R&B star Miguel decided to take things up a notch. He leapt from the stage across the teeming crowd, but fell short, directly landing on a fan's head while hitting another with his leg. To add to the awkwardness, he proceeded to hug the wrong person and continued with his performance. He later appeared in a backstage interview with one of the injured fans in an apparent attempt at damage control. However, he was eventually sued by another lady who claimed to have also been hurt by his humiliating jump.
Recently, we've had a pretty remarkable meltdown from Kanye West. The rapper turned designer turned US presidential candidate turned Yahtzee with an N has been crashing out online. Admittedly, for a few years, but it picked up in 2025 after the Grammys. The Grammys this year is where Ye's wife Bianca was nude with mesh. Obviously, there was lots of pushback because of this fashion choice that eventually spurred on the latest Kanye West social media rant. Parts of the rant were in support of his wife and her fashion choices, but there were other things in there as well. Lots of hateful words, mainly directed at the Jewish population. He also tweeted in support of people like Diddy and against those that have come forward in the Me Too movement. Essentially, he was tweeting whatever came to mind. Most notably, he tweeted out a photo of a white t-shirt with a well-known Yahtzee with an N hate symbol on it and said that he would never sell something like that because his followers might get hurt if they wear it in public. So not because that symbol is a mark of hatred, at least in the way that Kanye was using it, not in its original context of course, but because the people that would want to wear it hatefully might get hurt. Anyways, literally, guess what he started selling shortly after that? You'll never get it. The very same t-shirt. He took out an ad during the Super Bowl, aka like the most watched sports event in the US, and advertised his website, but when people went there, the only item for sale was the shirt he said he would never sell. The ad itself was also quite strange. It was filmed on his phone, which was similar to what he did last year, except last year he filmed from his car and the site was full of normal clothes and shoes, whereas this year he filmed from seemingly his dentist office right after a procedure, and the site led to the one terrible t-shirt. Kanye's Twitter rant eventually morphed into him literally tweeting out explicit videos, links to them, which is interesting considering a couple years ago he was calling for the site to remove all of that stuff and that Jesus saves. It was after this that he deactivated his account for the first time. He returned shortly after with more offensive and erratic tweets. Now, listen, I don't really think that Kanye is humiliated by his outbursts at all, but he should be. His hate-filled remarks have no place anywhere, and it's truly amazing how in just a couple years he went from preaching about the Lord to claiming to be him. But back when the idea of going viral was still kind of a new thing, Christian Bale had a meltdown that grew so popular it was people's ringtones. So let's set the scene. Bale is working on Terminator Salvation, or T4. He's in the middle of a scene and the cinematographer walks into the background of a shot right across Bale's sightline. Bale proceeds to crash out about this. The video of this moment was never released if there was any, but there was audio, and honestly, the video's not really needed. You can hear how mad the actor is. After being released online, the audio quickly spread to every inch of the internet. It featured plenty of explicit language, enough to get cancelled by today's standards for sure. He called the cinematographer unprofessional multiple times, threatened to quit, the whole 9 yards. Bale yelled that he wouldn't go around during a scene ripping the set apart, so why should the cinematographer be disrespecting the actor's space like this too? In the end, the rant had more of an effect on Terminator Salvation than it did Bale's career. People obviously weren't happy with how Bale treated the cinematographer, but for the most part, it was just kind of the movie that flopped. People were already on the fence about T4, and the rant just made people want to see it less. Bale ended up issuing a public apology, saying he was out of order beyond belief, he makes no excuses for it, there is nobody that has heard the tape that has been hit harder than him, and saying that he sometimes gets so lost in a role that he does lose himself a bit. Shortly after this, Bale went on to star in the final installment of the Dark Knight trilogy, and the on-set rant turned into a minor hiccup in the actor's journey and a fun fact that you would hear about in a video like this. The on-set meltdown nearly destroyed his career at the time, but then, you know, Batman came back around, and it's amazing what a good acting performance can do for someone's reputation. Hugh Grant was called out online after the reason for his on-set meltdown on the Dungeons & Dragons film came to light. The British actor apparently lost it on a woman who was simply there to chaperone the young star of the movie. He had thought that she was someone who was more familiar with movie sets, like an executive or someone like that. I mean, that doesn't really warrant the response that he apparently had. Grant said that he had lost his temper and compared himself to Christian Bale's infamous 2009 incident. He shared all this in an interview with Total Film magazine. Apparently, it also happened on the first day of filming. He said that he ended up doing a lot of groveling once he realized the error of his ways and that the woman was actually very nice. Unfortunately, this outburst news was not exactly a surprise to a lot of people that have followed Grant's career through the years. He gained a rep for being very difficult on set. In 2012, TV host and actor Jon Stewart claimed that Grant's on-set behavior wasn't great, saying the actor would never be welcomed back on the show that he had been working for at the time. He also said that Grant was giving everyone grief the whole time. Hugh Grant appeared to have taken a break from acting early in his career, but according to the actor, that was not on purpose. Apparently, his behavior on the movie set, Did You Hear About the Morgans, caused opportunities to dry up for him, and that's not me saying that, it's him. He pinpointed this flick as the moment his career took a pause, claiming that Hollywood gave me up because I made such a massive turkey with that film with Sarah Jessica Parker. Whether I wanted to or not after that, the days of being a very well-paid leading man were suddenly gone overnight. People are also speculating that Grant is the person behind an on-set story from Rebecca Ferguson told early last year. The actress shared that she was once screamed at by a co-star on set to the point of tears. To be clear, Ferguson has never actually named the person that she was talking about. She made it clear that she wanted people to focus less on that and more on the message that she was trying to convey. The Sparks Notes version of that is that you need to know how to stand up for yourself. But still, the internet loves drama and began combing through her past projects trying to find the actor. Due to his past on-set behavior, when people saw that Hugh Grant starred in Florence Foster Jenkins with her, he became suspect number one. It's like a year later though, and there hasn't been any confirmation that the yeller was in fact Hugh Grant. Though the actor himself has said that Renee Zellweger is one of the few actresses that he hasn't fallen out with, so there's that. Hailey Bieber was called out by a former restaurant host on TikTok for being not nice, leading to the star issuing a public apology. Back in 2020, TikToker Julia Carol Ann started rating celebrities that she had interacted with during her time at an upscale, unspecified New York restaurant. Using a 1 to 10 schedule, she would share why certain people ranked the way that they did. Hailey Bieber received a 3.5 out of 10. Julia claimed that she had interacted with the model model multiple times, and none of them were great. She said that she wasn't trying to be a hater and wanted to like the star, but the score speaks for itself. It's not clear exactly what Bieber might have done to receive this score, but it's clear that she wasn't proud of her past actions when she actually found and responded to this video. The model left a comment apologizing for her behavior that read, "Just came across this video and wanted to say so sorry if I've ever given you bad vibes or a bad attitude. That's not ever my intention." She went on to say that she was glad that she was called out and held accountable for her behavior so she can do better in the future. She also said that she hoped the pair could someday meet in person so she could apologize face to face. Carol Ann did respond saying that she hopes for the same and that she also appreciated Bieber taking accountability for her actions. The precise words were calling her an accountability queen. Despite Bieber apologizing, people still attacked her online. She's one of those people on the internet that people just do not like and will take any opportunity to go after. Sometimes it's warranted, other times it's not, in my opinion anyways. Anyway, the point is she receives a lot of hate online pretty consistently, and that can take a toll mentally. She gave fans an inside look at how it all affects her in a series posted to her YouTube channel featuring psychiatrist Dr. Jessica Clemens. She directly addressed the previously mentioned TikTok, saying that seeing the video really upset her. She explained that at varying points, presumably including that of when she met the hostess, she was going through a lot of emotional lows and interacting with anyone was difficult. She did clarify that she knows that that doesn't excuse her negative behavior. The model shared that she actually didn't even remember meeting Carol Ann, but she still regretted her actions and wants to strive to do better.
First up, we have Ryan Gosling. Someone's clearly been taking lessons from a sassy child, because that's the vibe that Ryan Gosling was sending off in waves while being interviewed alongside his The Nice Guys co-star Russell Crowe on Stephen Colbert's Late Night Show. In 2016, during their segment, Ryan stormed off stage after Crowe implied that he actually didn't need him for the interview, trashing Colbert's table before storming away with the house band and then joining the audience, basically interrupting the whole show. Everyone in the audience had this very shocked look on their face, wasn't quite sure if it was staged or not, but later they would go on to say that it was a bit for the show, but many people speculated that that was just their cover-up story and Ryan was being a diva. Number 2, Piers Morgan. Arguably one of the most notorious on-air exits in television history occurred in 2021 when presenter Piers Morgan abruptly left the set of Good Morning Britain. This happened after the weather presenter Alex Beresford confronted him regarding remarks he had made about Meghan Markle's interview with Oprah Winfrey during the previous day's broadcast. Alex said, "And I understand that you've got a personal relationship with Meghan Markle and she cut you off. She's entitled to cut you off if she wants to, but yet you continue to trash her." This prompted Piers to stand up and exit the studio, which would ultimately mark his final appearance on the show. And later that day, it was revealed that he would be departing immediately amidst the controversy surrounding his remarks about the Duchess. Now, as he was storming off, he said, "Okay, I'm done with this. Sorry, no, can't do this. I'm off to spend more time with my opinions." Now, just a couple hours later after that incident, ITV released a statement saying Piers Morgan has decided now is the best time to leave Good Morning Britain. ITV has accepted this decision and has nothing further to add. Number 3, the Bee Gees. In 1997, during their appearance on Clive Anderson's All Talk, the Bee Gees found themselves at the receiving end of the host's jokes about their music. Within mere seconds of commencing the interview, Clive likened the group's distinctive high falsetto to Mickey Mouse and humorously suggested that the Bee Gees, renowned hitmakers, were only one letter shy of being hit writers. The breaking point for Barry Gibb and his brothers, Robin and Maurice, came when the host actually forgot their hit records, prompting them to get up and abruptly leave the show. Number 4, Crispin Glover. Now, Charlie's Angels actor Crispin Glover's unforgettable appearance on Late Show with David Letterman in 1987 secured its place as one of the most notorious moments in the genre's history. Crispin had previously garnered attention for his captivating performances in the 1984 film Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter, also followed by his role as George McFly in Back to the Future, one of my favorites. Now, his scheduled guest spot on Late Night with David Letterman was intended to promote his latest film. However, instead of the expected promotional interview, the actor, who was only 23 at the time, delivered a very perplexing and bewildering segment that lacked a discernible purpose or direction. The catastrophic segment ended with David declaring, "I'm gonna go check on the top 10," before walking off the stage and leaving Crispin briefly alone before the show just basically cut to commercial. Number 5, Joan Rivers. In 2014, the late Joan Rivers made headlines when she dramatically exited a CNN interview. CNN host Frederica Whitfield was accusing Joan of being mean in some of her harsh fashion critiques, which appeared to ruffle the comedian's feathers. Frederica continued to challenge Joan as she said, "You're not really worried about feelings getting hurt," to which the showbiz personality replied, "Well, not when it's about dresses. It's not about them. It's about the clothing." But before abruptly walking out of her interview, Joan yelled, "Stop it with the 'you're mean' and 'you're that' and 'you're this.' You are not the one to interview a person who does humor. Sorry." She basically stormed off and left the interviewer shocked and basically in disbelief. Number 6, Chris Christie. Now, comedian Jimmy Fallon couldn't resist slipping in a wisecrack about former Governor Chris Christie's weight when the Republican presidential candidate attempted to recount a story involving ice cream. This incident unfolded during Christie's appearance in 2015 on The Tonight Show. Now, Christie was sharing an anecdote about a recent visit to New Hampshire where he and Florida Senator Marco Rubio had stayed with Utah Senator Mitt Romney. Now, during their stay, Christie recounted how they all went on a boat ride with their respective families, and upon returning to the dock, Mitt suggested that they all indulge in some ice cream. Christie described his reaction to the ice cream offer as all right, but Jimmy, making a playful reference to Christie's weight, suggested that his response might have been a tad more enthusiastic. Now, Christie caught on to the joke and, in kind of good humor, momentarily walked off the stage before returning with a comeback of his own. Number 7, Paris Hilton. When ABC interviewer Dan Harris asked Paris Hilton if she was worried about her, moment having passed, she laughed uncomfortably, then basically left. She got annoyed and walked out of the interview after he asked her about being past her prime and kind of living in the shadow of former friend Kim Kardashian. Now, in the clip, Harris repeatedly asks her if she's worried that, time has passed, she's not really popular anymore, and actually points out the low ratings on her Oxygen reality show, The World According to Paris. Now, Hilton answered, "I've been doing this for 15 years now, so it's been a long time. So just like any other business person or someone in the industry, it's always important to reinvent yourself and come up with new projects." After several basically clipped, quick no responses, she basically sighs, looks off camera, and just walks out and doesn't return. Number 8, Naomi Campbell. During an interview with ABC News in 2010, supermodel Naomi Campbell abruptly left when a discussion veered towards a blood diamond she was rumored to have received from former Liberian dictator Charles Taylor, who was facing war crimes charges at the time. She said, "I didn't receive a diamond, and I'm not going to speak about that." As the interviewer persisted in questioning Naomi about the issue, the fashion icon rose from her seat and departed, accidentally causing a camera to even topple over in the process. Later in the same year, Naomi acknowledged that she had received the diamond while providing testimony during the trial of the former leader. Number 9, Prince. Prince was interviewed on The View in 2010, but he didn't actually stay for long, and for years since, fans have wondered how he actually really felt about the interview. Prince joked about being on the morning show and said, "These are strange hours for rock stars." He mentioned that there was a wonderful series of concerts that he was doing there, as he was at the time playing at Madison Square Garden. Now, while The View's co-hosts were all thrilled to have Prince there, since he was, of course, an icon, Sherry Shepherd was definitely the most excited. And since she was sitting right next to Prince at the famous View table, she looked super nervous. Right away, Shepherd said, "Hey Prince, could you just say, 'Sherry, I love you'?" He did, and they hugged, and that seemed like a very sweet moment, but then things got incredibly awkward. Sherry then said to Prince, "You don't understand, Prince. I've wanted to make love to you for my entire life." Prince felt extremely uncomfortable. His eyes went really wide. He kind of comically backed away from the host, but he actually left the set for good. He basically said, "Girl, get somebody else to do it." Number 10, last but not least on my list, is Rita Ora. Now, Rita Ora walked out of an AP interview after the reporter asked her about her ex-boyfriend and musical collaborator Calvin Harris. The interviewer said, "There's been a lot of rumors about Calvin Harris not releasing some of your stuff." Ora shut it down. She said, "Thank you, bye-bye," and she replied saying that while walking away. Now, it's alleged that when she split with Calvin Harris, there were rumors that she cheated on him, that he refused to allow the album to be released because he produced it, basically completely sabotaging her career and ruining all of the momentum she had made at that time, which is why the interviewer asked her that question in the first place. Justin Bieber's latest public meltdown was sparked by his ex-girlfriend Selena Gomez's engagement to his former friend Benny Blanco, according to insiders. Now, it's alleged that the 31-year-old Canadian superstar had a lot of mixed feelings behind the announcement, as he once considered Blanco one of his closest friends. Selena Gomez and Justin had an on-off relationship between the years of 2010 and 2018. A source said that Justin confided in his breakup and heartbreak over Selena with Benny Blanco. Now, the source said, in a way, say Justin felt betrayed even though he knew he had no right to feel that way. Justin shared cloudy-eyed footage to his Instagram of him seemingly on board, a plane and rapping about getting high. Some concerned fans branded the bizarre clip as desperate and sad. While Bieber has presumably, moved on with his life since their split, it would also seem though that he still has some feelings that haven't been addressed and some unresolved trauma from the relationship with Gomez. Now, this rapping video also comes days after his rep slammed rumors about him being on hard illegal substances. In the short clip, Bieber could be seen shirtless with a pair of pants on and a bright blue beanie as he held a bag of snacks in his hand. He could be heard rapping the lyrics that said, "High like a fly guy, I fly high like a magpie, I go high like a bad guy," as a beat played in the background. Now, one of Bieber's friends could be seen actually bopping his head in the back, kind of in the forefront actually, and dancing along to the beat in the video while putting a cigarette in his mouth. The pal even appeared to suggest some lyrics at the end of the video, adding, "'Cause I'm that guy." Now, in a statement from February 23rd, a member of Justin's team and his wife Hailey Baldwin's Bieber's team denied the rumors that he is using, these hard substances and called the allegations exhausting. Now, in this statement, the rep said that the past year has been very transformative for the hitmaker as he ended several close friendships and business relationships that just no longer served him. So instead, the team member said that he is supporting his wife Hailey and their son Jack Blues, who's now 6 months old, and is focusing on his health and art. Justin previously opened up about his past substance use in an interview with GQ in May of 2021. He said he once reached a very low point where security guards would sneak into his bedroom in the middle of the night and check his pulse to make sure he was still alive. He said in the interview there was a sense of still yearning for more. It was like I had all this success and it was still like I'm still sad and I'm still in pain and I still have these unresolved issues, and I thought all the success was going to make everything good. And so for me, the substances were a numbing agent to just continue to get through. Also noting that he, lost all control of his vision for his career at the time. Now, his reps have continued to say that the false rumors are pitiful, adding that despite the obvious truth, people are committed to keeping negative, salacious, harmful narratives well and alive. However, engagement may not be the only thing that weighs on Justin. Sources close to him say he has been mentally spiraling ever since disturbing allegations surfaced against his former mentor, Sean Diddy Combs. An insider says Justin is so disturbed by the Diddy news and is unwilling to process it or discuss it, so he has completely shut off. Now, the hip-hop mogul, who had once taken a young Bieber under his wing, was arrested last September on charges ranging basically from bad to worse. Crimes, of course, he denies. Now, Justin's marriage to Hailey Bieber has faced its own struggles. Since becoming a mother last August, Hailey has been grappling with emotional challenges, something many women experience post-pregnancy. And while Justin has been doing his best to support her, some sources suggest his unpredictable behavior has strained their relationship. A source said Hailey loves him madly, but he's a loose cannon. Some of her friends have advised her to go at it alone and leave him. Now, earlier this month, another insider claimed that Baldwin was deeply concerned and didn't know where to turn for help. The news came days after Justin was supporting her at the Los Angeles launch of her pop-up for her makeup brand Rhode. Footage showed Bieber wearing a beanie hat, sunglasses, and clothes that basically swamped his slim figure, shifting his weight awkwardly, itching his thighs, and grinning uncontrollably. Now, following the event, Bieber shared an Instagram post with pictures of him and his wife beaming happily and hugging. He captioned his post saying, "Congrats, baby, on your beautiful Rhode pop-up." Baldwin's Instagram post after the event, containing 11 photos, did not include a single snap of her husband, which is a little weird. Hailey Bieber and her close friend Lori Harvey recently partied together amid her rumored relationship struggles with her husband Justin Bieber. Hailey Bieber attended the 2025 Vanity Fair Oscar party without her husband Justin Bieber by her side after they shut down speculation about their relationship. The Rhode founder wore a custom Saint Laurent black strapless mesh gown that featured satin bows tied around her waist and legs at the Wallace Annenberg Center for the Performing Arts in Beverly Hills, California on this past Sunday. Hailey added a pair of statement diamond earrings in the shape of a floral bouquet, as well as a diamond bracelet and her massive engagement ring from Justin, or wedding ring, should should I say. She appeared to be in good spirits for the outing as she smiled and posed for photos. The influencer spoke about how she picked out her look and explained that she was super happy with it. Haley also admitted that she had a slightly different mindset attending the party this year because she is now a mom to her and Justin's 6-month-old son, Jack. She said, "You're just thinking about such different things now, and like I'm gonna go inside and be checking the baby monitor non-stop." The Road founder attended the Oscar party alone and seemingly had more fun though later in the night with Harvey. Haley's fun activities come amongst rumors of tensions in her and Justin's marriage though, with insiders claiming, of course again, that she's deeply concerned about him. Now, Harvey shared a video on her Instagram stories page that showed her and Haley dancing at the club while Crime Mob's classic tune Knuck If You Buck played in the background. The ladies looked excited as they danced to the song, though they seemingly didn't know the lyrics. At one point, Harvey actually knucked her fist into her and stretched her right wrist, while Haley, who held the glass, actually dropped it to join her in doing the same. The ladies then laughed and then kind of just brushed it off. Now, Harvey captioned the video post basically saying exactly at Hailey Bieber. Now, the duo was seemingly partying at Jay-Z and Beyonce's Oscars 2025 after party as well, as the outfit Harvey wore in the clip was the same as that she was seen in while entering the party venue. Now, online blog The Shade Room reposted the video of Harvey and Haley partying on its Instagram page, which sparked several reactions from fans. Some of the fans who commented made jokes about the pair not knowing the lyrics. One person wrote, "Lori, you don't know this song?" While another person added she doesn't know any of the lyrics. A third fan shared, "I know they never knucked or bucked a day in their lives." A fourth fan added, "They probably took ballet and piano classes when this banger dropped, so it's understandable." But those weren't the only reactions. Other fans had other reactions as well. Another fan called attention to Haley and Justin's rumored marital issues and concerns about his health. So they wrote, "While Justin is out here looking like he is on his way out of this world, I can't." Basically ensuing that Haley's out partying while Justin's at home, like sick, right? Now, at the end of February, Justin had fans worried for him after a shared video on his Instagram that showed him inhaling and exhaling smoke from what we are led to believe is a J. Justin, who wore a black beanie and a hoodie, grinned in a 1-minute clip as he puffed the smoke. He also danced to a song in the background and seemed to be in good spirits. Justin's video came after he posted another clip in which he rapped about, of course, being high, which made fans worry about his well-being. So many concerned fans, took to social media to air their frustrations with the musician, with one of them writing, "He's clearly stopped taking his meds, and it's sad to watch." Another person wrote, "This is so sad and so scary. I hope he gets help soon." The source also revealed, though, that he's not working out like he used to. He doesn't seem to eat like he once did, and people can see he has lost weight. So due to all of this, Haley's friends have been basically begging her to leave him. One source said, she thought the baby would change him for the better. But girl, how many more episodes do we need to watch to learn that having a man's baby will not fix him? You should have known. The source also said that she has been putting up with a lot, and allegedly when the baby was born, he was there for her and she thought that would stick. But it indeed did not stick. Now, the source shared more details about Haley and Justin Bieber's situation, revealing that the supermodel's best attempts to be there for her husband were often not reciprocated. They said, "Haley has been trying to give Justin the help he needs, but he doesn't appreciate being told what to do and sometimes shuts her down and refuses to talk to her for days." Another insider claimed that Haley puts up with Justin's baggage due to her desperation for them to be a complete family unit. They added, "Living with Justin is a stressful experience because he often likes his own way. Sometimes he can be a very unpleasant person to be around, and that's when she lets him do what he wants, as she knows it will be resolved a few days later." It's starting to sound toxic, and maybe her friends asking her to get away might not be the worst advice.
Now, spitting at police. That's an intense phrase if I've ever heard one, so let's start with that. This allegedly happened in 2008. Again, it's all alleged because, well, I wasn't there. I was 7, and I have never been on the airline where this happened, aka British Airways. But the subject in question, the person this story centers around, was supermodel Naomi Campbell. The reason she was so upset was because of missing luggage. Missing luggage sucks, no matter who you are. It all happened before the flight even left, though. She somehow realized that her bags weren't making it on with her and refused to let the plane leave without them. It got to a point where police had to come onto that plane to try and defuse the situation, but that clearly didn't work because the supermodel was escorted off after spitting at the officer. She was banned from the airline, Didn't last very long though. Like 5 years later, she was back on a flight, much to the disappointment of the airline staff. But this wasn't actually the first time that Campbell got into an altercation on a plane. A decade prior, in 1998, she got into an altercation with fellow passengers, and this one looks like it happened midair. Campbell was asleep on the flight, and then people tried to take pictures of her. She got upset with them, and things escalated to the point where she tried to rip the camera from the person's hand. Khabib Nurmagomedov was set to take a flight in January of this year. He was sat in the emergency exit row, and that was apparently a problem. In a video taken of the incident, a manager is seen speaking to the MMA star and telling him that he had two options: change seats or exit the flight. He remarked that the treatment and options weren't fair and he didn't want to change seats. For that reason, he was escorted off. He was honestly pretty respectful about the whole thing, in my opinion. He did get up and exit calmly when he realized that the airline wouldn't budge. He was booked onto a later flight. Once the internet heard about the incident, people were quick to point out that of everyone on that plane, he actually might have been the best choice for the emergency exit row, but looking into why he was asked to leave, apparently when the flight attendant came around to ask the standard exit row questions like, "Can you help people in case of emergency?" or "This is what you do in case of emergency," she had to explain it to the fighter a few times. English isn't his first language, but he can speak it, though he did eventually understand what the attendant was asking him and confirmed that he understood. She felt it would be better if he were moved to another seat, and well, you know what happened after. Probably one of the most impressive track records when it comes to airport arrests belongs to that of Snoop Dogg. So the year's 2006, and 3 airport incidents happened in this one year. The biggest of the trio was him and members of his entourage were trying to get into the VIP lounge at Heathrow Airport. Some people had the tickets to get in, but some people only had economy tickets, so they weren't eligible for entry. People in the group got mad and pushed their way in. Workers obviously protested this and said that the group would not be able to board their flight. Police were called and things escalated to the point where stuff started getting thrown. Nasty words, bottles of alcohol from duty free, and even in one case, an officer. A quote I found was that a policeman was thrown like a rag doll, and that really just paints the picture of the state of that room for me. Allegedly, it took 4 officers to get Snoop Dogg in handcuffs. There were many injuries, and this all unfolded in front of patrons already in the VIP lounge, so dinner and a show. So that was April. October rolls around, and Snoop Dogg was arrested at Bob Hope Airport after he was found to be in possession of a firearm and the green leaves. He was scheduled to appear in court in December for that one, but right before that, in November, CBC News reported that he was charged with a felony for trying to board a plane with a collapsible baton, which is deemed a weapon. He said it was a prop for a future video that he was going to shoot later. However, he did plead guilty and was sentenced to 3 years probation and 160 hours of community service. A decade ago, Kate Moss was removed from her flight to London. She apparently hid some vodka in her bag and drank it, something you can't do. She also tossed some insulting words at the airline staff in her intoxicated state. Allegedly, she got into it with a fellow passenger, but luckily for the most part, the other passengers seemed to be unbothered, or just like less bothered by the supermodel. One person even described her as kind of funny and said that the flight attendants were overreacting. The police did respond to the incident, but the outcome of this was pretty tame in comparison to some other airport incidents. After it all went down, passengers from the flight even came to the defense of the model. A clash over phones and allegedly words with friends had actor Alec Baldwin escorted off his flight in 2011. Hey, anything can happen. So you know, when you're on a flight and the flight attendants ask people to put away their devices, but then there's like that few minutes where the plane doesn't actually take off, so everyone just pulls them out again? That's what this seems like it was. After it all was over, Baldwin explained that he felt singled out by the flight attendant. However, the attendant's story paints a different picture. Either way, it's clear that Baldwin was asked to put his phone away in the middle of words with friends, things escalated, and he was removed from the flight and placed on a later one. The in-between stuff, we'll get into it. Baldwin's story was, he was singled out and asked to put his phone away, while other people got to use theirs still. He did admit that the situation got the better of him. Reps for the airline added some more details, claiming that not only did Baldwin refuse to turn off his device, he allegedly decided to take it into the washroom and slammed the door so hard the cockpit crew heard it through their closed door. He was also allegedly using negative words towards the airline staff and being generally unpleasant. But if you thought Words with Friends was an interesting catalyst for an in-flight argument, get ready for sagging pants. Billy Joe Armstrong of Green Day boarded a flight in 2011, but a flight attendant was not appreciative of the man's fashion choice of the day. Some airlines, this one included, they don't have like a super strict dress code. However, they do want passengers dressed appropriately to be around, well, young people and the public in general. And that doesn't include sagging pants. Armstrong was the first to break the news of his plane removal, tweeting about it in real time. According to an account of the incident, he had boarded the plane only to be approached by an attendant and asked to pull his pants up. Upon refusal, he was told the pants go up or he's off. And from the end result of this day, one can only imagine that the pants just had to stay down. Things went a bit different for another intoxicated celebrity, Blac Chyna, but her situation seems like it was just a bit different. Whereas Moss just tried to serve her own alcohol and said some mean words, apparently Blac Chyna got into an intense verbal fight with the gate attendant. But that wasn't the main reason she was turned away. Allegedly, she also just smelled intoxicated. After refusing to allow her to board the aircraft, she was redirected to Saxon Pub. The problem was, that was closing, she really couldn't seem to catch a break this day. She then allegedly got into an argument with the bartender, then that ended in the police arriving to help escort the star from the building. She wasn't having a great time and refused to walk and was generally uncooperative. She was also found with some capsule substances in her purse, so it's clear that she was just having a bad day. She did post bail at $8,000 in addition to some counseling and evaluations. E-Online wrote on a report that was filed at the time that claimed the star was charged with a third-degree felony for having the stuff on her. Thankfully, she did have someone looking out for her in the end. Then boyfriend Rob Kardashian posted a photo shortly after her arrest of them FaceTiming. I can say that she is doing much better in 2025. She's engaged and highly successful in her fields. Well, on a walk back to her vehicle recently, Oprah was ambushed by a paparazzi with various questions about her recent involvement in the US presidential election. For those not aware of the situation, Oprah has been accused of being paid $1 million to appear at an event supporting Kamala Harris's campaign. TMZ obtained the exclusive video of this impromptu Oprah interview. It was quick and clear to viewers that Oprah did not want to engage, giving short answers and telling them multiple times that she wasn't going to answer their questions. The first question was about what Oprah thought of the election results, and her answer was sweet but firm in that she didn't want to discuss the matter. However, you can see her demeanor change when the cameraman presses on anyways, asking if it was true that she was paid to endorse Harris. Oprah spoke very clearly when she said that that wasn't true and that she was paid nothing ever. As the pop continued to ask various questions, Oprah got in her car, and as the door closed, it was clear the impromptu interview was over. But paid endorsement accusations aren't the only ones giving the talk show host grief right now. People eagerly await to see if Oprah will publicly comment on the situation with Diddy and everything that people are accusing her of providing the victims to the freak-offs, to having a connecting secret underground tunnel system within the rapper's home. There are all sorts of outlandish theories out there. The reason Oprah has found her name attached to Diddy in the headlines is because people noticed how comfortable she appeared with the rapper in party snapshots. As mentioned, Sean Diddy Combs is in some serious trouble right now after multiple people have stepped forward accusing him of engaging with them without consent, forcing people to consume things they don't want to, filming compromising situations, and then later using that footage as blackmail for people, and just generally being a really awful person, and definitely not the kind of guy you'd want your name attached to, especially not if you are someone as famous as Oprah, the kind of personality that has established themselves over the years as someone in firm support of the movement and amplifying victims' voices. Now, coming back to bite Oprah are all the pictures of her partying with Sean Diddy Combs at events he's hosted and others hosted by third parties. Here's the thing though, many big Hollywood names have appeared on a Diddy guest list, but not everyone has been a guest at a freak-off, which are the parties that everyone really has a problem with. Diddy was known as the party host in the 2000s. He hosted massive birthday parties, the white attire parties, wild after parties. The bashes were known for being over the top and expensive and extravagant, and everyone wanting to be there. A Diddy birthday invite was once a VHS featuring a dozen celebrities personally inviting the viewer, including Oprah actually. Another invite featured a literal golden ticket. It was a status symbol to be around that much wealth. The main parties were apparently often pretty standard as far as parties go. Allegedly, it was the Diddy after parties that were the freak-offs. Many news sites report that by the time a party descended into a freak-off, the famous faces would have already left. Like anything, there are always rumors online about various celebrities being caught at the events, like Oprah. But people aren't just accusing Oprah of attending freak-offs, but also helping put them on. Some sites even claiming she provided the victims. They claim that one way she would have brought people over is via an underground secret tunnel system connecting Oprah's home to Diddy's. Rumors of a tunnel system below Oprah's home have been around for years, but with all the Diddy drama lately, that rumor's being dug up again. Some TikTok users even claim to have access to and explore abandoned Oprah mansions. The tunnel situation really caught fire when one woman claimed that not only was Oprah a key player, but that she had the address to a tunnel entrance. Adria English filed a lawsuit against Diddy, claiming she worked for Combs at the Hamptons and Miami parties he threw in the mid to late 2000s. In addition to allegedly being forced to consume things, English claims she was also forced to engage in actions she didn't want to do. She claims she was told by Diddy that in exchange for her actions, he would help her and her then boyfriend break into the entertainment world in their respective industries, music and modeling. English alleges that he never kept up his end of the bargain, and now she is suing Diddy and those deemed his co-conspirators for $50 billion. Adria English did have legal representation, but they have since parted ways. One of the lawyers claimed that English was disrespectful and self-destructive, making it impossible to continue representing her. However, the legal team did say that they never lost faith in her case, just in her. To which English allegedly responded with, "I am the client, you work for me." How does this tie back to Oprah? A major point of conflict between English and her legal team was that they requested that English not speak to any form of media, and soon after parting ways, English spoke to independent media. And that interview made its way around TikTok gossip pages and conspiracy pages. English made the bombshell claim that there were tunnels under Oprah's home. She also made the bold statement, she sees what's going on because she's a participant. And there appears to be a shortcut in the video, so it's unclear if her next statement came right after this line or if the video was edited, but the next words Adria English spoke in the video are, "I ain't gonna say allegedly, sue me." As of right now, no credible news site has confirmed that or that a tunnel system exists under any of Oprah's properties or that she was involved with or helped Diddy or anyone else with something like this. I do not wish to discredit Adria English, just clarify that the information she has shared hasn't been officially confirmed or fact-checked by a credible news site yet. Oprah has made little to no comment on the Diddy situation, but maybe it'll take a year until she does speak on the issue. That is what happened back in 2013 regarding her 2011-2012 nervous breakdown. In 2013, the talk show host admitted that the rumors circulating from the year before about how she was having a nervous breakdown were 100% true. She shared all this and more in an interview with Access Hollywood. Let's set that scene. Oprah is/was, if not the biggest talk show host back in 2011, so big that she could launch her own network. It was called the Oprah Winfrey Network, or OWN. What was supposed to be the start of a prosperous new chapter didn't really go according to plan. The network apparently struggled when it debuted, it struggled to take off, and it was struggling to stay up, to the point where Oprah started to suffer a nervous breakdown. The wind of this, when it was happening, it was in all the headlines, but Oprah kept to herself about it until a year later when she admitted it was all true. The talk show host shared that her breakdown was literally happening in the middle of her struggling network, and I do mean literally. She shared the moment she realized that she was breaking down when she was in the middle of doing voiceovers. She said, "I remember closing my eyes in between each page because looking at the page and the words at the same time was too much stimulation for my brain." She also shared that she started noticing other symptoms when she was interviewing Jason Russell in 2012. Their chat was all about his public breakdown, which included him running unclothed in the streets. Oprah never got to that point, let me assure you, but she did say that talking to Russell, hearing about his lived experience, his symptoms, clued her into the fact that she could relate and was experiencing some of them. Oprah explained in the Access Hollywood interview, "In the beginning, it was just sort of speeding and a kind of numbness and going from one thing to the next thing to the next thing." She also said she told herself, "All right, if I don't calm down, I'm gonna be in serious trouble." The talk show host acknowledged that she had worn herself thin and reached a breaking point, a point where she just couldn't handle any more stimulation. Oprah was always one to tell people to push through hard times and hold on to their dreams, and this situation was testing her ability to do just that. While her new network wasn't exactly tanking thinking it was doing poorly enough that it just wasn't where Oprah wanted it to be, and it could be considered a failure. The media was having a grand old time writing about the network's failure, which only made the wound hurt more. About this, Oprah had said, "Nobody was more surprised than I was about that." She then went on to talk about how this was the moment she realized that she needed to hunker down because, as she believes, there is no such thing as failure. She said that failure is just God telling you to move in another direction. Slowly but surely, the network started seeing their ratings improve to the point where Oprah stopped believing that she should be worried. The experience let her, in her words, walk that walk and not just talk it about following and sticking with your dreams.
Number 10. Will Smith. Now, if it was just the whole Oscars thing that tainted his image, I would leave him alone and just ignore the situation. But this man is humiliated on almost a daily basis now, thanks to his wife, partner thingy, Jada Pinkett Smith. This woman shares something new about her relationship every other day of the week. She dominated the front page media for a solid 4 or 5 months out of this year alone. I'll be honest, it went by very fast, so I just don't remember much. What I do remember is the photos of Will Smith just looking defeated, and he's usually sharing the same space as Jada. Jada literally looks like a Disney villain every time a camera is pointed at her face, like she knows where the king's missing daughter is, but she's not gonna tell anyone until she gets that crown. Before releasing a tell-all book revealing even more dirty secrets, she just took the hamper out and dumped it on the dining room table. I swear, every time this woman watches Will Smith wipe his nose, she has to do a breakfast television appearance the next day. This man may have slapped Chris Rock on live TV, sure, but that is nothing compared to the absolute mental damage that woman does to him constantly. I have never seen a woman share more about her marriage despite the absolute trash that marriage contains. She told the world that Tupac proposed to her from prison. She said she's been separated from Will for 7 years. She talks about how many times she's done it with Will Smith and just so much more. That poor man. Number 9, Kendall Jenner. Members of the Kardashian family will make a few appearances on this list. Kendall has been called out for using Photoshop in one of her photos online a few times, but there was just the most obvious Photoshop fail of all time after she posted a photo of herself in a bikini where she appears to be turning into a werewolf. Her fingers on her right hand are melting down into a straight line, making it look like she's morphing before our very eyes. Her sister Kim called her out on social media for the flub, and so did the rest of the internet. But there are plenty of examples of Kardashians being caught in a lie or indulging in a moment, but the best part of this entire thing was that she doubled down by posting a photo of her normal hands slumped down so that people could see the difference. On top of that flub, she was also humiliated further when a clip from that show, The Kardashians, showed Kendall attempting to chop some cucumbers, and she clearly doesn't know how to do it. Like someone's been making her cucumbers since she was 3. Number 8, Zac Efron. Zac rose to fame as a Disney darling, playing the lead role of Troy Bolton in High School Musical. Since his Disney days, Zac has lent his voice and face to several projects, but the red carpet event that kinda tainted his image for the animated Dr. Seuss movie The Lorax. Zac, who voiced the main character of the movie, was walking the red carpet when he suddenly handed his assistant something from his pocket. As he handed them the product, something fell out of his pocket and onto the ground. And that something is a word that I'm not allowed to say online, so let's call them love tubes. Zac's love tube wrapper was flat on the red carpet right there for the world to see. He quickly picked it up, but the damage had already been done. In the first interview following the incident, the interviewer asked Zac if anything unplanned had happened during his walk. He then explained that it was a complete accident, there was no pre-show pocket check that could have prevented it. Well, Illumination didn't like that excuse, and they didn't seem to like their main star being associated with such adult projects. So when that Lorax sequel came out, they were planning to replace Zac with another actor. But I guess whoever they picked wasn't famous enough because that project got canned, and Zac found work in Baywatch. Good for you, buddy. Number 7, Chris Evans. As many of us know, double checking your work is important, especially when the destination is the public. Now, this was a lesson that Chris Evans, aka Captain America himself, had to learn the hard way. A little while back, Chris posted a screen video to his Instagram, but forgot to actually crop the video out. So, as it finished, fans were greeted to a brief glimpse of Chris's Long John Silver. The video was quickly taken down by all accounts. This seems like something that he did not want to post online. He was quiet for a bit, but even his Marvel co-stars started throwing him a roaster too. Mark Ruffalo tweeted that since Donald Trump was in office at the time, that there was nothing that Chris could do to embarrass himself. Chris only acknowledged the incident in a brief post a few weeks later, telling people that now that he had their attention, they should go vote on November 3rd. That's one way to get the word of mouth going, eh? Hey, Chris Evans just showed me his dingling. Vote Biden! Of all the humiliating moments on this list, this should have been one of the bigger ones, but Chris received little to no flack for the accident. Even Marvel didn't care, and they care about everything. Number 6, Elon Musk. Elon is one of the most important men in the world, being the CEO of not only Tesla, but Twitter, aka X. A few years ago, Elon revealed a new design for an electric truck that looked sleek and metallic called the Cybertruck. The demonstration took place in front of a massive crowd where Elon revealed the truck, and he confidently told them that his truck was incredibly strong, nearly impossible to break the windows or damage the structural integrity in any way, shape, or form. So a massive metal ball was tossed at its windows, and guess what? It broke. The ball stayed there for a second before revealing a massive hole, but as Elon said, it didn't go through the windows, so that's a bonus. The audience found this amusing, and Elon laughed the whole thing off, but following the event, he discovered the incident was to blame on the order in which it was tested. During the tests before the presentation, a sledgehammer was swung at its doors and seemed to hold up pretty well. However, the hammer hit the truck in a sweet spot because a small little crack formed in the corner of the window. When the demo took place, the force made the crack massive and it just broke. It's nice to know what happened, but it doesn't change the fact that his near indestructible truck couldn't even handle a sledgehammer swing. Like, come on, bro, it's lame. Number 5, Kendall Jenner. Again, sponsored brand deals can mean a lot of money for the people involved. Just look at every cologne on the planet. They hire someone to stand on a beach for 30 seconds and they make $1 million. Around 2017, Kendall decided to partner with the soda brand Pepsi to create a commercial that would act as both an ad and a PSA against hatred. The commercial consisted of hundreds of people from different parts of the world drinking Pepsi, and eventually everyone comes together on the streets of what appears to be New York. Kendall looks to the crowd, wipes off her makeup, and follows suit. The cringy moment comes when the crowd of people appear to be at a standoff with the police, and Kendall walks through them and just hands an officer a can of Pepsi. He sips it, crowd cheers, they swarm the cops who are suddenly cool with everything that's going on. Life's great. This ad was meant to be a political statement following the passing of several African American men and women in the United States, aiming to bring people together, which it did, but for the wrong reasons. The world collectively just cringed at this absolute mess, forcing Kendall to drop an apology video on that season's premiere of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. She may have apologized, but we will never forget the weirdest commercial of all time. Number 4, Milli Vanilli. In 1989, the duo of Fab Morvan and Rob Pilatus were on the top of the world. A fairly unknown crew had quickly rise to number 2 on the Billboard 100 list. They began performing their hit song in front of thousands of fans across the world, and people were hooked until very shortly into their rise to fame, they were performing in front of 80,000 people at a theme park in Bristol, Connecticut. They took the stage with their well-known dance moves and started singing, but when the chorus came in, it stayed. It repeated over and over again on a busted loop. The track that they had been lip-syncing to was trash, and the truth had been revealed. Not only did they not sing a single note of their hit song, Girl You Know It's True, but the song itself was actually stolen from another group a few years prior. Milli Vanilli were a disgrace, and what was worse is that only a few days before they were exposed to the world, they had won an award for the tune and they had to give it back. Ow! Number 3, Ellen DeGeneres. When Dakota Johnson was a guest on the Ellen DeGeneres show in 2019, she took a very subtle and pulled back approach to addressing an issue with the host. Ellen asked Johnson when her birthday was and then claimed that she had never received an invitation for the party. The 50 Shades star quickly smiled, revealed that she actually had in fact extended that invitation, but apparently Ellen did not reply. Ellen was baffled and asked Dakota if she was sure. There was no possible way, right? And Dakota said, ask literally anyone here, specifically your producer Jonathan. Following the comment, Ellen is just searching the room for Jonathan with an angry expression on her face, which is understandable because she got outed as a liar on her own show. Unfortunately for Ellen, that wouldn't be the last time, as a couple months later, a lot of stories and tweets and rumors started circulating about Ellen mistreating her staff, and eventually the show got canceled. So looks like Dakota delivered 50 Shades of oops. That sucks. Number 2, Justin Bieber. In 2015, Justin was performing on the Today Show, debuting his new song, What Do You Mean? During his performance, he got super excited and started dancing and singing his track, as one does. But moments later, he got caught on air dissing the camera operator, saying that he might as well not dance since they don't even move an inch. He said next time he won't dance because it's just a waste of effort, and he was visibly annoyed as he ended his time on the show. Fans from Justin were quick to question his aggression in the moment. Before being cut off by the commercial break, Justin started to rant about what he even does this for, and if they're just gonna ignore him and cut him off, then what's the point? Not long after this on-air mishap, Justin announced that he was taking a break from music. The two seemed to be unrelated, but you never know. Embarrassment's a pretty big deal. Maybe he had some real regrets when it comes to scolding the cameraman that did nothing to you before that. And out of all the mistreatment scandals surrounding Justin Bieber, this one is honestly just the silliest and pretty embarrassing. When Justin appeared on the set of CSI, he actually upset an entire crew with his behavior. According to several people who were on that show, Justin put his fist through a cake that was on the craft service table. He dismissed the claims as baseless, but a lot of people saw him do that. So just go into your room and be quiet, Justin. Just be quiet.
In 2013, Beyonce made many headlines after she performed at the Super Bowl halftime show. After the show, the singer's team were very unhappy with some of the images of her looking animated on stage. One of her publicists emailed the site BuzzFeed to ask them to take them down, but the site actually refused. The email read, "There are some unflattering photos on your current feed that we are respectfully asking you to change and take down." BuzzFeed reacted actually by writing an article that read, "The unflattering photos Beyonce's publicist doesn't want you to see." When Beyonce performed during the halftime of 2013 Super Bowl, there was nothing in the world being talked about more. In fact, it was tweeted about more than the game itself, and one of the biggest reasons for the big fuss was the long-awaited reunion of Beyonce with her former Destiny's Child bandmates Kelly Rowland and Michelle Williams, who popped out on stage during the show to the elation of R&B fans everywhere. Despite Beyonce desperately wanting all of these, quote-unquote unflattering photos to be taken down, they never were, and it only drew more attention to them, with them being shared virtually everywhere. I mean, she can't catch a break, even to this day. I mean, just look at me digging them up all over again. You're welcome. Let's start with all the claims of her cultural appropriation and insensitivity. In 2016, Beyonce faced backlash for her music video Formation, which featured African-American cultural symbols and imagery. Critics accused Beyonce of profiting from Black culture without properly understanding or respecting its history and significance. For example, writer and activist Rachel Kadizi Gonse, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, wrote an essay criticizing Beyonce for her use of African-American cultural symbols, stating, "Beyonce's Formation is a masterclass in how to take Black cultural production and turn it into a product that can be sold to white people." Another notable instance is also seen in the music video Hymns for the Weekend by Beyonce and Coldplay. Although it is a great and catchy song to many, we have seen multiple scenes in the music video of culture being used as entertainment and accessories. In the video, we see Hindu temples, Indian people, Indian civilization, meditation being done, festivals celebrated, and a Hindu god. The music video overall has a variety of positive Indian culture shown, but what makes this music video debatable is the fact that Beyonce is using the Indian clothes as accessories, even though she is not Indian herself. What could have had, this music video be less debatable is if Coldplay collaborated with an Indian singer who knows about her culture and the clothing she was wearing. If this Indian singer would have replaced Beyonce, then she would have known that hennas are not from Indian culture. This already provides, a lack of knowledge that the artist has on the culture itself, which can be seen as disrespectful to many, especially in the Indian culture. As said before, Indians have a strong, respected foundation for their ancestors and their heritage. In the video, the person who is grabbing all of the attention from the viewers is Beyonce herself. There are Indian women there that could have stolen the spotlight, but we see how this cultural appropriation comes into the picture when Beyonce uses the best jewelry and clothing for the public, just as how the Kardashian uses, Black culture to show themselves off, but that's a topic for another time. Next, feminism and hypocrisy. Beyonce has been accused of hypocrisy for her feminist stance, with some critics arguing that her music and performances often objectify women and perpetuate patriarchal values. For instance, in 2013, Beyonce performed at the Super Bowl halftime show where she sang and danced in a very revealing costume, sparking criticism from some feminists who argued that her performance was
contradictory to her feminist ideals. Writer and feminist bell hooks criticized Beyonce for her feminist stance, stating, "Beyonce's feminism is not about ending patriarchy. It's about getting a bigger piece of the pie." Bell hooks criticized Beyonce's feminism and image, arguing that, while she uses her platform to discuss Black female pain, her approach is narrow and simplistic, focusing on gaining power within existing structures rather than actually dismantling them, and that her image can be seen as perpetuating harmful stereotypes. Some people did come to Beyonce's defense, and one person on social media said, "I felt like she was criticizing Beyonce because her preferred method of self-expression in Lemonade didn't actually jive with Hook's idea of what feminism is." Another person said, "How can she determine whether or not one's method of healing is inadequate? It's Beyonce's narrative. She can resolve it how she wishes. I see it as another version of Piers Morgan's, issues with the album, which I interpreted as, I'd like it better if you expressed yourself in a way that is more my taste." It's almost as if she's implying the only feminist way of moving beyond the hurt and betrayal is if Beyonce were to divorce or abandon her husband. Now, in my opinion, I think Bell Hooks had some very fair points, but I also think she criticized Beyonce so much because that's what sold her books. She has gone on record saying, though, she recognizes that she could be critical of Beyonce, yet also does appreciate aspects of her power and representation. Beyonce has faced criticism for her involvement in the Black Lives Matter movement and her position with activism, with some critics arguing that her activism is superficial and self-serving. In 2016, Beyonce performed at the BET Awards where she and her dancers wore Black Panther-inspired costumes, sparking criticism from some activists who argued that her performance was a form of cultural appropriation and that she was using the movement for her own gain. Beyonce's dancers wore black leather, afros, and berets, which some saw as a direct reference to the Black Panther Party, which was a 1960s Black nationalist organization known for its revolutionary stance and focus on community empowerment and self-defense. The song Formation, released before the Super Bowl, was seen as a powerful anthem about Black identity, resilience, and resistance, further fueling the perception of the performance as a political statement. Many conservatives, law enforcement organizations, and social media users criticized the performance and the song, viewing them as anti-police, anti-American, and anti-white, particularly due to references to police executions of unarmed Black men and the song's overall tone of defiance. The performance and the song generated a very strong backlash, with some calling for a boycott of Beyonce and others defending her right to express her views and celebrate her heritage. Activist and writer Kevin Powell criticized Beyonce for her activism, stating, "Beyonce's version of activism is more about branding and marketing than actual movement building." Her personal life and relationships. Beyonce's personal life and relationships have also been subject to criticism and scrutiny, of course. In 2014, Beyonce's sister Solange Knowles physically attacked Jay-Z in an elevator, sparking criticism and speculation about the state of their marriage. Some critics have also accused Beyonce of using her personal life and relationships as just a marketing tool, with some arguing that her music and performances often kind of blur the lines between, her personal and public life. In this day and age, so many scandals come and go with the wind. Very few have real staying power in the microwave nature of social media. However, Elevator Gate happened at a time when everything was magnified, and this drama remained the subject of conversations and memes for weeks and months and years leading up to the release of her album Lemonade, which dropped in April of 2016. One song on the album, Sorry, was particularly casting light of what we knew about the tension between Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Solange. It was widely speculated that the elevator fight was actually down to Solange confronting Jay about his alleged cheating, and Sorry only fueled the rumors to a very stunning degree. Beyonce sings in the outro, coining an iconic pop culture term, "He only want me when I'm not there, he better call Becky with the good hair." But for years, and to this day, who is Becky with the good hair? It must surely be one of the most Google searches ever. Various female celebrities found themselves subjected to rumors that they could be Jay-Z's mistress, with Rihanna being a rumor, Rita Ora, and Rachel Roy among those who were at the center of this speculation. However, most denied it and distanced themselves from the scandal, leaving the identity of Becky a mystery to this day. According to an insider, Becky actually doesn't really exist, and Becky was just a combination of women. Music industry politics and controversy. Beyonce has faced criticism for her music industry politics and controversies, with some critics arguing that she has used her power and influence to sabotage other artists and further her own career. Back in 2014, Beyonce faced backlash for her surprise album release, which some argued was a deliberate attempt to overshadow other artists and dominate the music industry. Some critics have also accused Beyonce of using her connections in the music industry and influence to silence critics and suppress dissent. Now, for example, in 2016, Beyonce's team was accused of trying to silence critics who were speaking out against her music and performances. Beyonce's venture into country music, particularly her recent album Cowboy Carter, her album and performances sparked such a debate about her, countryness and whether a pop star could authentically cross into that genre. Some country radio stations initially refused to even play Beyonce's country songs, citing that they were just not country enough, which raised questions about systemic exclusion of Black artists in country music. That's not the only album, though, that received a ton of criticism. Her Renaissance album did as well. Singer Robin Stone found out that her 90s house hit Show Me Love was sampled on Break My Soul, the lead single from Beyonce's album Renaissance, and at the same time as everyone else, she found that out. As the performer rather, than the writer and producer of the song, her approval wasn't actually required to clear its use, nor does she receive any income from it. So while Stone sees the nod as a compliment and proof of, her 30-year relevancy, it also brings up old wounds. The writers of the song, Alan George and Fred McFarlane, never gave her proper credit. She said, "That first note is mine. The ad-libs are all mine. I added flavor to it. They've been eating at my table and I've been feeding their families for well over 30 years. Stone isn't the only artist, though, startled by the use of their music on Renaissance. Beyonce removed an interpolation, a kind of sampling that sees song excerpts, re-recorded and often reworked. That comes from Khaleesi's 2003 hit Milkshake from the song Energy, after the latter publicly criticized Beyonce for not having the common decency just to let her know that she was using it. As Khaleesi explained, the situation rehashed an alleged dispute with the track's credited songwriters Pharrell Williams and Chad Hugo of the Neptunes, who she claims swindled her out of publishing rights for the two albums they made together. The discourse around Renaissance has opened up questions about the politics of sampling in modern pop. Today, sampling is a huge business. In the credits for the 16-track on Renaissance, there are nods to 17 other songs. Beyonce has tried pretty hard lately to stay out of the spotlight, and so aside from her recent country album Grammy win, not much new has happened to keep her on this hate train. But haters are gonna hate, right? Are you team Beyonce right now? Or would you like to see less of her in 2025? Let me know. First up, Justin Bieber. Throwing up in public is embarrassing for all of us, but doing it in front of thousands of fans, that is, well, thousands of times worse. In September 2012, during the opening night of his Believe tour in Glendale, Arizona, Justin Bieber was performing Out of Town Girl when he abruptly turned away from the audience and vomited on stage. He briefly exited, but soon returned to continue the show. What a trooper, right? But then, during his song Beauty and a Beat, he upchucked all over the stage again. Yikes. Bieber apologized to the crowd, claiming he was sick from drinking too much milk before the concert, and asked the fans if they still love him despite him throwing up on stage. Of course, they all screamed, which clearly indicated that they would and do still love him. Jennifer Lawrence winning an Oscar is supposed to be a very glamorous moment, unless, of course, you wipe out on your way to accept it. That is what happened to Jennifer Lawrence at the 2013 Academy Awards when she tripped and fell to her knees while walking up the stairs to accept her Best Actress Oscar for Silver Linings Playbook. Upon finally reaching the podium, the crowd gave her a standing ovation, and she joked, saying, "You guys are just standing because you feel bad that I fell. And that's really embarrassing, but thank you. Not gonna lie, it was really embarrassing." But the fall and her good-natured way of handling the awkward moment led to people actually applauding her as refreshingly, kind of relatable. Honestly, winning an Oscar can be more cringy or embarrassing, as you will actually see next. That brings me to Adrien Brody. Winning an Oscar is supposed to help your career, not make people think badly of you. Unfortunately for Adrien Brody, that's exactly what happened. When his name was called as the winner of this year's Best Actor Oscar for his role in The Brutalist, Brody stood, pulled out his gum, and tossed it toward his partner Georgina Chapman before proceeding to go to the stage. Then, upon actually reaching the podium, he embarked on an unfocused and unextraordinary acceptance speech that would set a new record for its length, nearly 6 minutes long. Even when the orchestra mercifully attempted to play him off, Brody persisted, requesting the music be stopped. He even remarked, saying, "I've done this before, thank you, it is not my first rodeo." He previously actually won for The Pianist. Now, falling on the way to the stage doesn't actually seem so bad now, does it? Steve Harvey is up. The 2015 Miss Universe contest, where at the dramatic conclusion, host Steve Harvey declared Miss Columbia as the new Miss Universe. The crowd actually erupted in cheers, Miss Columbia beamed with excitement, and she was even crowned and handed flowers. But moments later, a visibly uncomfortable Steve Harvey returned and awkwardly admitted, saying, "I have to apologize. The first runner-up is Columbia. Miss Universe 2015 is actually Miss Philippines." Gas basically filled the room as pageant officials removed the crown from Miss Columbia's head and placed it on Miss Philippines. Harvey later said, "You know, I took my stupid behind back out there. I should have let them announce it the next day in the newspaper. I wouldn't have caught none of the crap I caught." I mean, Steve, it was your mistake, so admitting it was the right move. And you know, what century are you living in where the newspaper would announce it the next morning? It would have been all over social media in like an hour or less later. Madison Pruitt is next. This one may escape you, as she's not your typical celebrity, but if you're a Batch fan like me, you'll know her and likely know of this super cringe moment in time she wishes no one would see or remember. So in 2020, Madison Pruitt, a contestant on the show The Bachelor, appeared to leave a fawning comment on one of her own Instagram posts, writing, "Beautiful date, Maddie, you are so genuine and so real." It seemed that she intended to post the compliment from a fake fan account, but forgot to switch accounts. Fans on Reddit roasted her, saying nothing says genuine and real like having a fake Instagram account to comment compliments on your public one. And another person wrote, "OMFG, commenting without switching to a fan account of yourself is embarrassing enough, but commenting that you're so genuine and real is sending me. What a nightmare combination of cringe." Pruitt later claimed that it was a friend's comment mistakenly posted from her account. Sure, Maddie, sure. David Hasselhoff does not want you to see this leaked footage of him. In 2007, a video surfaced showing a drunk and shirtless David Hasselhoff struggling to eat a hamburger while lying on the floor. It turned out that Baywatch star's daughter, Taylor Ann, had made the video to show her dad, severity of his drinking problem. However, it was leaked to the public. While it was not a fun experience for the Hoff, he later said the video played a very pivotal role in his recovery journey and acknowledged that the public's, exposure served as a wake-up call. In a statement at the time, he said, "For me, it was actually a good sign because it was a wake-up call and it brought everything to a head. Finally, I just said, look, this has all got to stop." Hasselhoff's battles with alcohol go back at least to 2002 when he first entered rehab. He had a DWI in 2004 and he said his concern was mainly for his daughters. He actually briefly lost visitation rights right after that video surfaced, but he has since had them restored. Now, as of 2025, reports indicate that Hasselhoff remains committed to his sobriety. Next, we have Lindsay Lohan and her very bizarre Instagram Live video. Now, the Instagram Live sees Lohan approach an apparently homeless family who she identifies as Syrian refugees and that she is really worried about them. The actress initially offers to take the two young boys to a hotel to watch a film and suggests the children should not be on the floor. However, when the family refuses, the actress becomes increasingly hostile. She even said to the mother, "You should be a hardworking woman and you should be doing what you can for your children so they have a better life." After a few minutes, the family decided to actually pick up their belongings and move away from her. Towards the end of the 10-minute video, the interaction becomes physical as Lindsay is seemingly pushed to the floor by the mother. It is not clear where the video was filmed, but Lindsay had at the time tagged her social media posts to Moscow and Paris. Now, many responded angrily to the post and accused the actress of trying to basically take and steal the young boys, while others described the video as just shocking, disgusting, and very uncomfortable to watch. Heather Morris. Sometimes people can mean well, but still seriously embarrass themselves. Take Glee star Heather Morris, who in June of 2023 posted an interpretive dance tribute to George Floyd on social media. Yes, you heard that right, an interpretive dance tribute to George Floyd. And honestly, it sounds like something her Glee character Britney Pierce would have done. Now, in the video, Morris performed in a very emotional dance set to spoken word audio addressing racial injustice. Now, while intended as a heartfelt tribute, many viewers found the performance insensitive and self-indulgent, criticizing Morris for making the tragedy about herself. One person wrote on Twitter, "This girl had not even one friend to tell her this was stupid." Heather Morris doing an interpretive dance to represent George Floyd's passing, "I really thought I'd seen it all." Another person on X wrote, "I genuinely want to know what possessed Heather Morris to do this. Honestly, there's no doubt she wishes this one would have stayed in drafts, as we all wish to. I'm still mind blown." She posted it thinking, wow, yes, this is great. Next up, we have Kristen Stewart. This was a huge scandal back then as Kristen was dating Robert Pattinson, her Twilight co-star, and he was one of the most sought after men in Hollywood at the time. So in 2012, footage of Kristen kissing her Snow White and the Huntsman director went viral on the internet. He was married to model Liberty Ross at the time, who filed for divorce shortly after the affair came to light. Stewart received massive backlash for her act. She faced massive public scrutiny, and during one of the confessions, Kristen actually mentioned that she had no reason behind cheating on Robert. She was going through a very, self-destructive phase in her life when her affair with Rupert began. Rupert would go on the record as well and say that it was just a momentary lapse, and said, "You never know what's coming in life. Around every corner there's something unexpected, and that's life." The Twilight lovebirds actually did give it another chance to love when they reconciled in October of that year, but things didn't work out as they finally ended their long-term relationship in May of 2013. Last but not least, Fergie is up. Fergie, known for her work with the Black Eyed Peas, of course, performed a very slowed down, jazzy version of the Star Spangled Banner at the NBA All-Star Game. Now, the performance was met with a huge mix of confusion and amusement, with many finding it out of place and even in an inappropriate, sensual tone. The performance became a viral sensation, with social media users sharing memes and jokes about Fergie's rendition. Now, in response to the backlash, Fergie issued an apology, stating that she wanted to try something special for the NBA, but that her rendition clearly didn't strike the intended tone. Some speculated that Fergie was attempting to emulate Marvin Gaye's iconic 1983 All-Star Game performance, which was also a unique and bluesy rendition of the anthem. Golden State Warrior star Draymond Green was actually seen on camera cracking a smile during the performance, further fueling the social media buzz. Now, Charles Barkley joked that he needed a cigarette after Fergie's performance during the halftime show. She wishes this footage could disappear, but honestly, I'm glad it's still out there. It's a great pick-me-up when you need a good laugh. Next up, we have Angelina Jolie and her brother. Sometimes celebrities have a strangely close bond with their siblings. Look at the Kardashians, the Hemsworths, the Olsen twins, or even the Jonas Brothers, stuck to each other like glue. But some stars have really gone that extra mile to show off their kinship, such as Angelina Jolie and her brother James Haven, who shared a very bizarre kiss on the red carpet at the 2000 Academy Awards. Back in 2000, after Angelina Jolie won her first Oscar, she and her brother James sparked a lot of controversy with a kiss, which Jolie later clarified was just an expression of brotherly love, and dismissed any other, rumors of anything else. Haven also clarified that the kiss was just a simple and lovely gesture, but the media made it into a very big thing. It became a hot topic, of course, and after some time, Jolie tried to get all of us to forget, but we didn't. No, we certainly did not. Next on my list is Khloe Kardashian. Khloe Kardashian has been the center of many Photoshop fails, but fans noticed how the wall was bending weirdly in one of her pictures. With this particular picture, Khloe had to take to social media to state that she actually wasn't the one who posted that picture, and covered it up by saying it was her glam team who had posted it. Khloe kept digging a hole for herself by continuously denying her posting the picture and stating, "I never even posted this photo. Maybe my glam did, but I didn't. Also, the bent lines in the back, LOL, please." Fans were not having this. They were saying, "Khloe, there are pictures of it literally on your feed. This level of lying and gaslighting is insane. Wow." That actually leads me to her sister, Kim Kardashian. Candid photos are some of the Kardashians' favorite pictures to post on their social media because they are in the moment. And sometimes paparazzi get good angles of them, that they love. Kim Kardashian has always been known to post paparazzi photos on her Instagram, and this wasn't any different. But fans noticed how the car in the back was very photoshopped. She received so much backlash that Kim had to post a statement on her social media saying, "I'm seeing online and on news media outlets that I suffered a Photoshop fail. So ridiculous. I reposted a picture on Instagram that a fan had already posted. I only added a little filter to it. It looks like the fan mirrored the photo, which is why the car looks like that. So this is actually hilarious to me. Who would even Photoshop a car to look like that? LOL. Sure, Kim, I guess we'll believe you. Sure." Axl Rose is next. In 2016, GNR singer Axl Rose demanded that an image he claimed was released without his consent or approval be removed from the internet by Google. The image in question was taken of the Star's frontman, at a 2010 concert in Canada, actually, by Boris Minkovic, and published in the Winnipeg Free Press. Now, the photo was quickly stolen from the newspaper's website and used to make memes mocking Rose's weight. Rose then hired Web Sheriff to get the photo taken offline. The reason he wanted it down so bad is because it started trending as people were making fat Axel memes and sharing them everywhere on social media. It does sound like bullying to me, but one person posted one caption that said, "Remember the 80s? He ate them." Please don't hate me for finding that one funny. Admit it, you laughed a little, didn't you? Torrent Freak reported at the time that a notice was sent to some sites that hosted the photo reading "copyright image of Axl Rose. Please be advised that no permission has been granted to publish the copyright image, so we cannot direct you to an authorized example of it." It never got taken down. Jennifer Aniston does not want you to see these photos or videos of her smoking a cigarette on her birthday. Despite her very good girl image, Jennifer Aniston has a long history of smoking, which she has said she since quit. But in 2022, the actress and wellness advocate was pictured lighting up a bogey amid her birthday celebrations. Her ex-husband, Justin Theroux, posted a video of the actor lighting a cigarette before it was quickly deleted off his Instagram story. Aniston has admitted that she was a chain smoker for years, very early on in her career, regularly making her way through a pack of cigarettes a day, like one pack a day. But in 2007, 3 years after finishing her hit show Friends, she decided to quit, saying the habit was affecting her health, energy, and even her relationships. Well, the lie detector determined that was a lie. As much as we know she'd love us to forget and wishes we never saw it, well, I'm sorry, Jen. Once on the web, forever in the cloud. Kris Jenner isn't immune to this list at all. As the matriarch, of the Kardashian-Jenner empire, Kris Jenner needs to be smart about what she posts on social media because she represents her daughters as well. Kris posted a picture of herself and Chef Gordon Ramsay to show he supported her cookbook. Now, this would have been a great picture, but it became overlooked heavily by the amount of filters used on the image. In the photo, Kris looks very smooth on her face, but Gordon Ramsay seems very different. It was noticeable to fans because Ramsay posted the unedited picture on his own social media platform. So this was a classic case of like, as long as I look good, I don't really care how you be looking type of vibe. I mean, I'm guilty because I've done that, but I'm not Kris Jenner and I can get away with it. I'll admit, as someone who, kind of cares how I look in pictures, not so much in videos, clearly, but it was not her finest moment. This pic that Gordon shared, yeah, it wasn't that flattering, so I see why she'd want to give it the old edits and glitz and glam to it. But to be fair, they both looked fine. It was not that bad, never that serious where she had to do all that. She should have maybe just made it a bit more subtle. Kate Middleton is next. Yes, the Princess of Wales herself. Do not come for me. I love the royal family, okay? But they are not exempt. The Princess of Wales raised eyebrows after uploading an image sitting alongside her and Prince William's 3 children. Hours after the pic was shared online, several international news agencies reportedly refused to share the upload, claiming the source had manipulated the image. Kate addressed the controversy and admitted to tweaking the Mother's Day snapshot. Now, an X post, formerly known as Twitter, shared through the official Prince and Princess of Wales account said, "Like many amateur photographers, I do occasionally experiment with editing. I wanted to express my apologies for any confusion the family photograph, that we shared yesterday caused. I hope everyone celebrating has a happy Mother's Day." It was innocent, harmless, and we have forgiven her. Paula Abdul is up. The Straight Up performer shared a seemingly edited picture of herself and Kathy Hilton, who is Paris Hilton's mom, at the Bravo Stars holiday party back in December of 2022. Abdul's new look confused fans as they took to the comment section to say she did not resemble her natural self. One of her followers commented on Instagram saying, "This looks like a completely different person." Another person wrote, "Wow, I don't understand this. Everyone knows what you actually look like. The amount of editing here is embarrassingly obvious." And a third person said, "Holy," words I can't say in this video, "she looks like a kid." Several social media users even went as far as to joke that Abdul in the photos was an imposter, and people asking, "Where's Paula? What have you done with her?" Some people even think she may have been hacked. Abdul never actually addressed it, but she did remove the photos, which basically, speaks for itself. And last up, I have Gigi Hadid. Now, a March 2017 Vogue issue celebrating fashion's fearless female showed Gigi, reaching across Kendall Jenner to rest her hand on Ashley Graham. Now, not only do people wonder whether or not Graham's curves have been slimmed down for the cover shoot, which is problematic, but many were skeptical about the Photoshop wizardry that elongated her arm basically an extra few inches. Now, the way it's placed, this hand looks like it belongs to Gigi
Gigi Hadid, but it's just so long. If it is meant to be Gigi's hand, that means Gigi's arm is incredibly long enough to hold on to both Kendall and Ashley. Or perhaps it's been, just photoshopped, which feels like the more likely option. I mean, I think we would all have noticed if Gigi's arm had been dragging on the floor this entire time. It's possible that the mystery hand is actually Ashley's on her own waist, creating the illusion of a super long Gigi arm. But if that's the case, where is Gigi's hand? Is she able to bend her wrist at a sharp 90-degree angle? Vogue nor Gigi ever responded to the controversy about this, and we might never know, but you decide for yourself like I did, and I'm sticking with that it is a Photoshop fail. Chris Evans is first, and I'm taking the title literally with this first one. This actor is best known for playing Captain America in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Well, in 2020, fans got an unexpected treat after the actor shared some very personal photos of himself online. Evans accidentally posted a nude photo of himself on Instagram. The photo was quickly deleted, but of course it was screenshotted and shared widely online. Evans later poked fun at the incident on Twitter, saying, "Now that I got your attention, vote." The incident was trending on Twitter and several jokes and memes were made. Some fans thought he did it on purpose, and some thought it was likely just honestly an honest mistake. One person online had a question to everyone though that said, "Do you guys think that there's a double standard in the regards to how men are treated when they leak nudes versus how women are treated when the same thing happens? Because from my point of view, women, when something like this does happen, are given a more hostile approach. However, in regards to Chris Evans, his fans were really great from what I've seen. They filled Chris Evans searches with photos of Chris and puppies with masks on, anything they could do to divert the attention. There seems to be a general consensus that what happened to him was really crappy. However, when female celebrities, risky photos were to leak, then there would be such a mixed bag of, opinions." That person does make a good point, and most people agreed that there is a double standard in Hollywood. What do you guys think? Kanye West is next. This American rapper and fashion designer is no stranger to public meltdowns, scandals, controversy, and whatnot. We can't seem to escape him, and honestly, I think we're all so tired, are we not? But back in 2020, West accidentally revealed his private conversations with Taylor Swift about her song Famous on Snapchat. Now, the conversation showed West asking Swift for permission to use the lyrics, which contradicted, Swift's previous claims that she had never given permission. Swift called the leak a character assassination. She also said that she was never given the full story or played the song. In clips that were posted to Twitter at the time, the rapper is heard asking Swift to release his new song to her Twitter account after telling Swift he included a very controversial line about her, in the song. West then tells Swift he's been mulling over the lyrics for 8 months and warns her, that it's gonna be a little Eminem a little bit and to brace yourself for a second. After Famous was released in February of 2016, Swift's reps said the singer declined and cautioned him about releasing a song with such a strong misogynistic message. Taylor was never apparently, made aware of the actual lyrics. Kim would then go on to call Taylor a snake and said that she was made aware. Honestly, the whole thing was so messy. I actually do remember watching it on Keeping Up, and I was just as confused then as I am now. Jay-Z, this rapper and entrepreneur known for also being Beyonce's husband, is another celebrity who accidentally exposed his secrets online. In 2011, Jay-Z accidentally tweeted his private conversation with Kanye West about their album, Watch the Throne. The conversation revealed the two rappers' creative process and their opinions on each other's music. Nothing too crazy there, but he definitely tried to delete those tweets. Britney Spears, this 90s icon, has been open about her struggles with mental health. However, in 2007, Spears accidentally revealed her psychiatric evaluation on her website. The evaluation showed that Spears had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and had been experiencing psychotic episodes. While these diagnoses, should be by now normalized, I do agree. Well, at the time, and for someone with Britney's status, it was not ideal to have this exposed to the world. It only made her a little more on edge, and well, we all know how that next decade went for her, so case in point. Justin Bieber. In 2019, Justin Bieber posted an Instagram story calling out the Daily Telegraph for misspelling his name in a headline, writing, "How are you gonna spell my name wrong after all these years? Haha." However, fans quickly noticed his search history was
also included in that photo, which showed pages on Selena Gomez's Coachella performance. Bieber, who, of course is married to Hailey Bieber, had notably dated Gomez when they were both really young stars. He then commented saying that video of Selena singing Taki Taki came up after my wife and I watched my Coachella performance. Obviously, she's gonna be in the related category. To fans and people who think I'm maliciously trying to start crap, grow up. So it doesn't seem like he was searching for her deliberately, but you know how social media is. So of course they took this and ran about 5 miles with it. Hailey Bieber, she once accidentally followed a Selena Gomez fan page back in November of 2018. She then very quickly unfollowed it, with the fan account posting a screenshot of Hailey messaging her in her DMs saying, "Hey, followed you by accident, so sorry." Fans thought she was trying to stay up to date on Selena's activity since she used to date Justin Bieber. Now, Hailey and Selena have had a rumored, feud in the past, but both shut down those rumors on social media lately. Now, fans of Gomez actually flooded the comment section, leading the person behind the account to actually turn off the ability to reply and comment. The Instagram user wrote, "I turned off comments because y'all are going off. Can y'all stop hating? Just that. I feel bad for the times I've shaded her, and that's that. Jeez." Travis Barker. Well, Travis Barker did mention the name Rocky as a contender for his child with Kourtney Kardashian Barker during her pregnancy. The name was not confirmed until after he was born, except the name had actually been confirmed months earlier if you looked at Instagram stories from the baby shower. By zooming in on one photo, viewers were able to spot a note on a wishing tree addressed to Rocky, which read, "My baby Rocky, have a life filled with love." Kylie Jenner. Back when 17-year-old Kylie Jenner was only rumored to be dating Tyga, who is 7 years older than her, she appeared to reveal their relationship by posting a photo on Snapchat with the rapper, which was of course quickly deleted. Now, the controversial relationship, was eventually soft launched by Tyga on Instagram, with Kanye West and Khloe Kardashian appearing to actually confirm the relationship rumors in interviews. Robin Thicke. This wasn't posted by Robin, but still, at a VMA after party, Robin Thicke actually took a photo with a fan. Her name is Lana Scalaro. After the photo was uploaded, people started to notice that you could see Thicke grabbing Scalaro's backside in the mirror behind them, which Scalaro actually then confirmed did happen. Thicke, who never addressed the photo once, was married to Paula Patton at the time. The photo made waves online, contributing to Thicke's status as just a controversial figure. Thicke and Patton would later divorce, with many people saying it was that incident that caused their separation. Katy Perry. Back in 2015, Katy Perry posted a video of her dog on Instagram and Twitter. What she didn't realize was that the dog's tag showed her phone number and was visible in the video. Perry quickly deleted the video and deactivated her number after receiving so many calls from fans, of course. So many people took to Twitter to alert her, and some fans said they didn't even notice. Nevertheless, as a celebrity, having your personal phone number exposed, I would imagine, would be the worst case scenario. Last step is Howie Mandel. Howie accidentally told the world about his OCD diagnosis on Howard Stern's radio show in the late 90s. A guest had apparently touched the door after touching their private area, and Mandel did not want to touch the door with his hands. He said, "They thought it was funny, and I get it. I think it's funny too to try to get me to touch the door, but I started having a panic attack." Because he's a friend, I said, "Please, Howard, I've been diagnosed with something called OCD. I'm medicated, and if you don't open the door now, I can tell that you're gonna have to call 911. They opened the door, but then Mandel realized the show was still broadcasting live. He had not yet told the public about his OCD. He walked outside devastated after that happened, and he was thinking, this was the end, and I didn't know what to do. I was contemplating running straight into traffic in Manhattan there, standing on the sidewalk, when somebody came up to me and said, 'Are you Howie Mandel?' And I said, 'Yeah.' And he said, 'I just heard you on Howard Stern. Me too. I suffer from it too. And it was so good to hear you talk.' Mandel then, started receiving letters from others thanking him for speaking on this condition. He would later become much more open about it. So a happy ending with that one after all.
The It Ends With Us drama is never ending. There's a lot of serious accusations flying around, and now even videos. After noticing that director Justin Baldoni and lead actress Blake Lively seemed to keep distance from one another at the It Ends With Us premiere, social media users were quick to deduce that the pair must be feuding. Pretty soon, people were picking sides. Some Team Justin, citing past interviews of Lively in which she was rude, others choosing to be Team Blake as no one from the cast was backing Justin and they all seemed to support Lively, which felt weird. Eventually, Lively was losing the battle, and necessarily that Justin was winning winning either. Lots of people were hating on Blake Lively just because they wanted to, but then it was revealed that Justin had allegedly hired a PR team to start a smear campaign against her, and that's when the lawsuits started flying. Justin sued Blake, she sued back, he sued her husband, Ryan Reynolds. It is a mess. In one of her suits, Lively accused Baldoni of acting inappropriately on set and adding intimate actions into scenes when they were not scripted, etc. These are really serious accusations to make against someone, especially if they are insisting on their innocence. Lively had referenced a particular scene, and so Justin's legal team decided to release footage of that scene to help clear his name. 10 minutes worth of footage. His team had promised that they were going to create a whole website with all the evidence that they have collected to clear Justin's name, which is quite unusual for a legal case. Usually cards are played in the courtroom, but this became a social media trial a long time ago. Releasing the footage ended up really working in Baldoni's favor. Many people began taking his side for a number of reasons. He had receipts, they felt he wasn't being that inappropriate in the scene in the end, they believed that Blake was flirting with him in the scene, there's a lot going on. Point is, Lively has lost a lot of public support, and that's not a good thing in their chosen profession. In order to stay working, actors need the public to love them, or at least appreciate kind of like their body of work. Baldoni is fighting so hard to prove that he is innocent. It's safe to say that of the two, Blake Lively is more famous and has more iconic roles on her resume. That, on its own, gives her a lot of power in Hollywood, plus she's married to Ryan Reynolds. She has a bit of a safety cushion there. Justin doesn't have that luxury, and if he were to lose the public's favor, he would lose everything. At least, that's how a lot of people see it. Before, this situation was between Baldoni and Lively and Ryan Reynolds by extension, but now, Blake Lively has filed an amended complaint that she wasn't the only woman on set that experienced negative behavior at the hands of Baldoni and a producer of the film. She has now claimed that 2 other actresses from that set are ready to testify and give evidence that they also experienced mistreatment during filming. It's not clear yet who the actresses are, though people are speculating that it would be co-stars Jenny Slate, who played Lively's best friend in the movie, and Isabel Ferrer, who played a young Lively. Despite this, people are still firmly anti-Blake and saying that she just can't accept that people just don't like her and that she is on her way to losing a $400 million lawsuit. A$AP Rocky has gone to court and faces up to 24 years in prison after he was accused and caught on camera firing at a past friend of his. Well, at this point I'm just kind of assuming it's a past friend. I don't know how one comes back from an altercation like that and then going to court over it. The initial incident happened actually way back in 2022, so this has been going on for a while. Fans have been on the edges of their seats waiting to hear if A$AP will go free or lose it all. The rapper was accused by a friend of firing at him after the pair got into a verbal and then physical altercation. The incident was captured by surveillance cameras in the area and was shown to the jury, and then later seen by the public when it was leaked online. Rocky's defense rested on the fact that he wasn't actually carrying a weapon and that it was simply a prop. You can hear bangs in the video, but it was agreed that it's hard to see if there were actually projectiles. The victim in the case claimed that his knuckle was brushed with a projectile, and he later received medical attention for it. However, Rocky's defense provided sufficient evidence for reasonable doubt. The victim, however, claims that he had the casings from the incident, but police that responded to the scene say that they couldn't find anything on the day. The argument to remedy this was that the victim just knew where to look. The victim took 2 days to report the incident, and surveillance footage taken on the day allegedly doesn't back up his claim to find the casings. Some people theorize that the victim planted the casings to make A$AP Rocky appear guilty. There is also dramatic moments inside the courtroom too, including one witness calling A$AP Rocky's lawyer annoying, and then another time when another witness was asked about the meaning behind the acronym AWGE, to which Rocky verbally told the man mid-trial to not say anything. It's pretty rare that someone would interrupt court proceedings in this manner. The meaning behind AWGE was never actually shared. In the A$AP Rocky extended universe, this is the thing that only a handful of people know, it seems. It's kind of like his branding, almost like his Fight Club kind of. There's 2 rules: you don't reveal the meaning, and when in doubt refer to rule number 1. But what was this verdict? Did A$AP lose everything, and is he going to be behind bars for up to 24 years? No, he was not found guilty. He was overjoyed with the results and literally ran to hug his girlfriend. He was overjoyed with the results and literally ran to hug his girlfriend and mother to their children, Rihanna. He literally almost jumped over the barrier to get to her. It was really sweet. Fans, they're obviously very happy with the results of the trial. Photos and videos of Justin Bieber out on the town have gone viral recently due to the fact that the singer is looking a bit more tired than normal. People are saying that he looks ragged, haggard, and just downright exhausted. And if he is, I wouldn't blame him. Growing up in the industry is tough, people constantly saying you're on the brink of divorcing your wife is hard, and caring for a brand new little member of the family is difficult. And imagine having to do all that while maintaining a worldwide brand. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that would send me into a nervous breakdown for sure. Bieber and wife, Hailey Bieber, welcomed their son in August of 2024, so they are probably still getting used to having their sleep schedules absolutely demolished. The easy answer to Justin's recent public appearances being less energetic than in the past is that he's simply tired from caring for his new family. However, of course, people have begun to speculate that there's other factors at play. Bieber has been accused of relying on substances, and in general, fans have expressed concerns for the performer's health. Bieber's style has also changed a lot from what people remember seeing him. He's favored an oversized, loose look in recent years that is unlike the pop star persona fans grew attached to. Though it's clear that this fashion is what makes the star comfortable, fans are saying he's let himself go. Rumors of divorce are also running rampant after Justin unfollowed Hailey on social media, and the couple were seen out on the town without the other. Fans were sent into an upset earlier in the year when they noticed that Bieber had unfollowed his wife on Instagram. The star has been on a bit of an unfollow spree lately, and the reason this matters so much to people is because Bieber isn't the type of celebrity that follows like 0 people. He's following almost 800 different accounts, so if he unfollows someone, fans take it as a message. In addition to his wife, the star unfollowed past friends and co-workers, and then in the past couple days he's unfollowed a lot of other music artists, and people are just really keeping an eye on things. There was so much chaos online regarding his unfollowing of Hailey that Justin actually posted a statement to his Instagram story to explain what happened. Apparently, his account was hacked. While it might seem ridiculous that his account would be hacked for the sole purpose of unfollowing his wife, I raise you the years of online and, in rare cases, in-person harassment that this couple has endured because people think they shouldn't be together. Whether that's because they don't like him, they don't like her, they want to be with JB, or they want him to get back together with ex-Selena Gomez, this couple has had the cards stacked against them for a long time. Recently, Hailey held a party for her skincare brand, and fans were quick to notice that Justin was not in attendance. Instead, he was spotted out to dinner with friends. Obviously, fans took this as a sign that the couple were on the rocks. Divorce rumors have been around for them since pretty much the beginning of their relationship, despite the couple's attempts to show that everything is alright. Hailey Bieber posted a sweet look at her and Justin's Valentine's Day activities to her Instagram. They went out to dinner and they cuddled, so it was very average if you ask me. Celebrities, they're just like us. Probably the most famous and incredibly heartbreaking account of a celebrity having footage leaked and then losing everything is that of Pamela Anderson. Anderson was discovered after being spotted in the crowd at a sports game. The crowd thought she was gorgeous, and soon she became a model and then later an actress. Her fame steadily grew with appearances in shows like Home Improvement and Baywatch. Eventually, she married Tommy Lee and everything looked like paradise. The couple was clearly happy and in love, but the good times came to a screeching halt when an electrician hired to work on the couple's home was fired. As revenge, the man stole the couple's tape of their intimate moments from their safe and leaked it to the public. Anderson and Lee were torn apart for this, even though it wasn't really their fault at all. People said that Anderson shouldn't be upset though, because she was already acting sensually in magazines and on TV. In one extreme case, she was apparently told that because she posed for a popular sensual magazine, she had no right to privacy. Her blossoming career was put on pause, and she didn't return to the level of fame she once had until very recently. Thanks to recent societal events like the Me Too movement and just, in general, little tolerance for revenge of that manner, Anderson has been able to take back her career. She's received rave reviews for her performance in 2024's The Last Showgirl and her successful 2023 book, Love, Pamela. Oh, and then this goes at the very end of the Justin Bieber point. Oh, and Justin eventually did show up to the party later in the night, but that part wasn't as widely reported on though.
Did Beyonce fake her pregnancy? When Beyonce was pregnant with daughter Blue Ivy Carter, so many rumors began spreading that she faked her pregnancy with a fake belly and had enlisted a surrogate to carry the child. A particular video, however, went insanely viral, like literally overnight. A video of Beyonce's high-definition interview with Australia's Sunday Night HD surfaced online. This interview would have been, on record as the most boring interview of all time had it not been for the one moment at the start of the sit-down when Beyonce took a seat and her bump, did something entirely different and kind of unnatural. So to explain, when she sits down, you can see her stomach like deflating and folding in on itself. The stills and slow-mos of the disappearing bump were circulated online as people questioned, what was happening? Now, was Beyonce wearing, different sized bellies to throw off the press as to how far along she was? Had she and Jay-Z, gone the surrogate route and her, deflating baby bump proved it? Or was it something else entirely that can or can't be so easily explained? Beyonce's publicist, Yvette Noel Schur, was quick with it. She shot down the conspiracy theories almost like immediately, telling E! News that, websites, blogs, and rumors suggesting that Jay-Z's wife is wearing a prosthetic or otherwise faking her baby bump are simply like foolish and outlandish. Beyonce addressed it literally only once, saying that was crazy. It wasn't even hurtful, it was just crazy. Where do they come up with this stuff? Meanwhile, her mother, Tina Knowles, took the talk like very personally. She went on to say, "I thought it was very unfair and very cruel that someone would think that someone would be that diabolical to keep up a charade like that for 9 months. As a mother, it was painful for me to hear the crazy rumors, and I even had people ask me, which was so ridiculous. The only thing they could say about why it looked like her belly folded is that it must have been the fabric." One critic online pointed out that Beyonce has been so secretive about her pregnancy and that the only footage of her actually being pregnant was super grainy and like not clear at all. Some fans, came to her defense saying that there was a pic of her on the beach, in a bikini, but honestly the photo of her in the bikini, if she was pregnant, looked like she would have been about like 4 months or less. So basically people were saying, the photo doesn't actually prove that she was actually pregnant. There were just so many conspiracy theories regarding why she might be lying. Many people thought she didn't want to ruin her figure, by being pregnant. Some people suspected maybe she couldn't have children of her own, and some thought, her and Jay were maybe adopting. However, none of this truly mattered when her daughter was actually brought into the world. Blue Ivy was born at Lenox Hill Hospital in Manhattan, New York on January 7th, 2012. Her and Jay actually reportedly bought out the whole floor at the hospital in order to have privacy, even making people who, were already there leave. But that's another story for another time. All in all, this whole circus made Beyonce a lot more open with her second pregnancy when she had twins Rumi and Sir. Personally, I think she didn't want the same, accusations and theories to surface again, so she kind of just said, y'all ain't playing with me today. You want a bump? Here it is. Is Beyonce lying about her age? There have been several moments that have made people question whether or not Beyonce is lying about her age. Matthew Knowles, her father, continues to use his daughter's name as a means, to staying newsworthy. This time though, it's adding fuel to the fire or to the rumor mill that the superstar is actually lying about her age. In an interview with Power 105.1's The Breakfast Club, Knowles, her father, says that Pink, the singer, is the exact same age as Beyonce. Pink, however, is 45 and Beyonce is, according to her, 43. Beyonce's age has been, a source of speculation for years, complete with alleged birth certificate leaks and, celebrity sources. Gabrielle Union, who is 9 years older than Beyonce, has said they were friends when they were teenagers, and apparently they even went to high school together, but the math ain't mathing there. While the difference between Pink and Beyonce are only like a measly 2 years, by the time you're closing down on 50, those years, apparently seem to matter. So, fudging the numbers early on makes it a little easier to simply stop at 43 and refuse to age any further. It's as if, as a performer, you were to reach 50, you'd stop being considered for parts or shows, which, let's be honest, that isn't actually true in today's day and age, because just look at Jennifer Lopez. She's in her 50s, she's still performing, headlining, you know what I mean? Or the other worry I would imagine most women up in age would be concerned about would be whether you'd be vilified for gallivanting in a leotard or a bodysuit, a one piece, whatever scandalous type of outfit you might have worn in your 20s. Basically, for being confident about your body. Taylor Swift does it, it's, girl power, but if Madonna does it, it is like supposed to be shameful, you know? So at least that's how society wants us all to view it.